Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. So, with that said, howdy, howdy. Howdy, neighbors. I hope things are going well in in your neck of the woods. Hi, Miss Pearl. I was thinking about you just the other day and hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping. And I'm using my cell phone uh, as a camera because with all the things I tried to go live with Robert tonight with using my computer and nothing works. I have reset so many things. Um, So, hi, Miss Pearl, and hey, Miss Chloe. Alexander, Chloe, Travis, how are you? So, is the camera and everything coming through all right? I got things rigged up here. If I bump here, I got my charger phone right here thing, and it's just all rigged up so I can do this. I hope you're doing all right, Miss Pearl. Mossy Man, how are you? It's good to see you all. I've tried to do Michelle. Hey, baby girl, how y'all doing out yonder there? You know, I wanted to do some more stuff, but I've been messing around trying to get this damn camera to work. Any camera to work on this computer has just not worked. Chloe, I sent something to his son on Instagram. Good, Mossy Man. Good that you're doing well. What time is it in your neck of the woods? It's 12:45 a.m. here. It's 11:45 in my house. You know, in about 3 weeks' time, y'all will be back on my time. I won't have to change my clocks. Anyway, I might have to go let the dog in. He's out there running and having a good time. It's cool outside and ain't no mosquitoes, nothing. It freaks him out every time. I got fresh coffee and a donut. If I don't knock nothing over. Tonight on Robert's show, I pulled the porcupine card, which is innocence, and reading about the innocence of porcupine and the fact that porcupine is striving to, like, let all let all beings be equal in a way. Hey, Scotty boy, there's very little. Hey, Amber Dawn. Yeah, Miss Amber, doing fair to middling. I'm still here, still kicking. I'm dealing with too much pain, but I, a friend was here today, and I told her, I said, was she was helping me bring in my supplies for the rest of the month. I went to the store, and anyway, I'm talking, and I'm like, man, God Almighty, my back hurts. But you know what? I can't bitch to anybody because I volunteered for it. So I'm just going to have to deal with it. And some days are worse than others. Some days are really worse than others. But I'm still kicking. I'm more worried about my heart. Um, in that I'm probably going to have a stent put in. Oh, and prayers, please, prayers go out to my dear friend Rob, who has been the gentleman who took me to the hospital when I had my heart issues here 2 months ago, and who's helped me with other things and around the house and all. Who I'm always talking about, my buddy Rob, my next door neighbor down the road and his kid, my buddy Rob, who just had another, had another child. His father has been in the hospital the last couple of days due to a similar heart condition like mine. So they had to send him to Thomasville to have a stent put in, I believe. I have not heard back from him today, as to how his pops is doing. And I'm going to give him the old 1-2 fist when I see him. Like I told you to at least send me a text and go, yes or no, good or bad. It ain't that hard. But I have not heard from him. So, but prayers out to him because he's still in the hospital. I know that for sure. So, but anyway, in reading about the two cards that I drew tonight, which was otter and porcupine, porcupine is about the innocence of things, and otter, the divine feminine. And I'm like, as I'm reading it, and I'm having these little visions in my head, and I'm going, and my spirit guides are like, you need to have a chat about this, Hawkeye. And I'm like, okay. And there's many of you lady folk in there. How do you feel about this? But with all the stuff that's going on with the them and the they and the pronouns and things, and so the divine energy, whether you want to call it goddess or energy or whatever, Mother Earth, mother being the key word here, Mother Earth, being respectful to the mother, whoever mother it is. Now, some mothers are better than others, and thumbs down on some mothers. They're real mofos, mothers. They're mothers. So, but in this new age of things, which is supposed to be the age of Aquarius, those that seem to want to splinter things like they are doing with the divine energy. I mean, anybody can be a man now. Women are identified, and they just, okay. So who's going to wear the penile thing, today or tomorrow or the next day or whatever? So who's going to become the male position or not? Who's going to be the dominant one in whatever it is, being the female lesbian kind of thing? And guys are doing their best to be women. And so, it's all right. But, somewhere along the line, especially, recently with the, being gay or whatever has been going on for a long time. But there was not necessarily pronouns to go along with it. You know what I mean? And there isn't the division in the girls in the guys' dressing room and guys in the girls' dressing room. And no. Let's keep our place in this matter, right? So but in all of this craziness, the divine feminine, there's sure enough girly things. I don't know. For me, I'm a guy, but the things that I always thought was the feminine was like the feminine things that women are and used to do. But now it's like now the definition of a woman has changed and who can be a woman. And I've seen some men who make really pretty girls. I mean, just unbelievable. But hey, Steve, how you doing? Good old divide then conquer. Yep. So, but I feel like, and I guess you would probably agree with me in that. So, hey, Barry, how are you? So, but the divine energy, feminine energy, honest to God, sure enough, feminine energy, guys can't do it. They can pretend, and they can pretend really good to be feminine. But the real feminine energy comes from a female showing up, that doesn't have a penis, because they have hormones and things and estrogen and stuff. There is the thing about women that make it women, that make them women, okay, in my humble opinion. But see, this is changing with, well, hormones and things, and well, I don't know if I'm a guy or a girl, and I don't know, I have lesbian tendencies. Okay. Um, and hey, Amber Dawn. Oh, I think I said hi, Elderberry, Scotty Boy, Mossy Man. I want to make sure I say hi to everybody to acknowledge your presence. But in the grand scheme of things, though, feminine, the true feminine energy is splintered and fractured because now men can be feminine, you know? So that's a fracture. Well, wait a minute, there's this guy over here that dresses up and he talks in a high voice and he really looks good in drag. But at the same time, is that true femininity? Because it's still a guy. Because he's still got gonads, okay? And because a woman is a woman because she don't have gonads. And I'm trying to be not messy with this, but that because of that and the hormones and the things that interact, there are, for me, when I was out and about and around other people, women have a scent and certain women have a certain scent. And there are just certain attractions that attract what I would say back in the day was real women, real men and women. And, I've been around a lot of gay men and I've never, ever been around a gay man, and I've been around a few with the theaters group and everything. Not a problem, but that they don't have that essence. They might be cute and nice and everything. One guy I told him for years, we had been in many productions together. I said, if I ever decide to go gay, I'll give you a call. I've never called him. In my old age, maybe never mind. No, still can't. But to the point though, but so as much as I was around him and as much as he was, trying to, flirt with me and everything, which he did every time we were around each other, and it was always kind of fun. But at the same time, though, there was never, if a female had flirted with me like he did, that had that scent about her, man, we'd have been getting it on at some point. That's all there is to it. So, but there is something about the scent of a woman. And I've heard women say, there's something about certain men, there's a musk or a smell or whatever that attracts the women to the men. There's that manly smell. And I don't necessarily mean with, avocado juice all over them or some kind of smelly shit. I mean, I have a video. Okay. Um, but so this idea that the essence of a woman, the essence of the goddess, the essence of the feminine, and there is the essence of Mother Earth, she gives off different scents and flowers and different seasons. And so there is that essence of the planet, if you will accept it that way. But so I have, this is sort of, it's not necessarily a new subject, but my spirit guides tonight were like, you need to open this subject up and just say, listen, folks, they're trying to destroy not just all of us with chaos, they're trying to destroy the divine feminine, the essence of womanhood. Well, what the hell does that mean anymore? Well, it's fractured, it's splintered. Well, but there are guys now who believe they can have a freaking baby. Or there are women who become guys who now, because they relate as a guy, they're a guy, they can have a baby, but they're still a woman because they still got the uterus thingy going on, right? So it's like, but wait a minute. So, but who's the guy and who's the girl? Where's the feminine in this? Well, I have become a guy to impregnate by some other means, And I know some very, very close in that the two gay women want to have a baby, but they got to get artificial insemination, or one of them's got to give it up or something, because they can't do it by themselves. You know, they're both feminine. I love them both, but here's the thing: they got to have outside help with this. Okay, and but to get the outside help, one of them, wants to have a baby when she's sort of the guy of the group in a way, just in a way. So now want to get pregnant. Okay, is there anything wrong with that? Well, no, but you're not a guy. You're a lesbian woman. Okay, not a problem. You're a lesbian woman who wants to have a baby. Okay, all right. You don't like guys, not a problem. I don't have issue with that. But don't try to say, now this is not the case with these two that I'm talking about. In the rest of the population, this is what's being promoted. I am a woman who is now a man, and as a man, I'm going to have a baby. That's this thinking. Because most gay men with gonads know they are not going to be able to shit out nothing like a baby. They can poke all kinds of stuff up their rectums, but they are still not going to be able to have that I'm giving birth feeling, that you got this giant head coming out your lower end of your extremities, that women, those folks with vaginas, okay, will experience. So no guy is going to be able to open up his hole this big around and let a baby's head out. They would like to think that way, but that ain't happening. And ain't nothing going to come out but poop anyway. So you might take a baby and shove it up there and then poop it back out or something. That's really gross. But that's as close as you're going to get, Your rare baby, what? Something. I can't, letters too small and I can't keep up with what y'all chatting about, which is okay. But so in this discussion of things, you know, um, but society is going in this direction, in that rather than ollie ollie oxen free, it's been hide and seek for a while with what's going on, but ollie ollie oxen free. So everybody comes in, that's hasn't been tagged or found or whatever, playing hide and seek. Everybody comes in and said, okay, everybody's here. All right, this is how it's going to go this next time around. All right. So, but there's splinters because people go off and hide in different directions. They go off in different directions. And with that, they take some form of femininity with them. Okay. So, in reading the cards tonight, about Porcupine and the innocence and, the with Otter and the female, to balance it. Well, if the female energy is splintered such that even men aren't balanced with their female energies, because now, as me as an old 71-year-old, I look around, I go, what can I identify as a woman these days? What can I aspire to? What's a woman? If I could find a date, what is there a woman out there that would still, want to date me or something? I mean, but to the point though that what is a woman nowadays? Is it a guy in drag? Is it, some other figment? What does woman mean? Is it some, and my last wife, I could have spot, she was like very dominant. I'm going to speak for you. She shredded all kinds of documents and things. She bought me a shredder for my birthday and then used it to just just shred all kinds of, I have no idea the things that she shredded. Oh, but it was just a bunch of old papers hanging around. Yeah, but I got no clue what she shredded. And that she told lies about me and stuff. I mean, some of these were like sexual exploits and things to our next door neighbor. I mean, it was just unbelievable the things that Cheryl said about me and accused me of and stuff. She was nuttier than a fruitcake, but I've had good relationships too with where we shared things, and open to each other. Um, but for other reasons didn't work. But distance, 3-hour drive one way. But to the point though that what does woman mean? Does woman mean that here's this crazy chick that takes advantage of the man and rearranges everything as to her liking, and we were doing puppets together, and she said what she thought was I said, and I'd go back to some of these people and go, I never said that. I never claimed that. Well, I would never say that. Not only did I not say it, but I would never say something like that. And they were like, well, your wife said you said it, or your wife said, blah, blah, blah. So she was a very control freak in that. So, but my point is that, was she a woman? What does a woman mean? Well, she was a really poor example of a woman because she wanted to control everything. Put words in my mouth. I mean, right in front of me, she would do this. And I'd go, I never said that. No, I'm sorry, but to my wife, would you shut up? I would never say something like that. I'm sorry, when we were around other people, like on the powwow circuit and stuff, or early on, she would tell people, and I'd go back around and go, your wife said blah blah blah, and I'd go, you can't be listening to Cheryl. No, no, no. If you want to hear what I said, then come to me. If Cheryl's out talking like this to y'all, come to me. you know Now I might send a message and say, Cheryl, go tell such and such, bump, dump, dump. Like, next show is at 3 o'clock or something, 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 something matter of fact. But I couldn't trust her to tell somebody, she would always add something. So is that a woman? Is that feminine energy? No, because I hated women after Cheryl was gone for a little while. It was like, this is just pathetic. And I mean, she took me for $2,000 and all of the appliances in the house and everything, and just left me, bye. That's feminine energy. And I never tried to hit her or anything like that, but even verbally, I was learning patience at the time by White Dove, who was riding in the truck with me, going back and forth to work. The apparition, the spirit guide that literally showed up, and spoke with me. And she was like, you got to see who this woman is by who she is, and she's going to try to entice you to argue, and she's going to do things to try to draw you in, and you must resist these things. Boy, I learned a lot both from White Dove and from Cheryl in that, how to stay out of an argument. Amber, I'm out. Have a good evening. All right, Amber, it's so good to see you, and much love and prayers sent your way to all y'all always. Much love and cosmic hugs there, eh, Miss Amber? So, but in this thing, I'm all for the divine feminine being divine feminine. I mean, and notice I haven't said sexy yet, really. But there's some women who are just truly sexy. I mean, they don't have to do anything. There is just something about them that makes them sexy looking, even to women or to men. There's just something about them. Okay, Marilyn Monroe, that might be a good or bad choice, but there's one. You know, she was attractive. She was lovely. Yes. Even in her natural state without makeup and red dresses and all that. But there are much other people, but they're just, un, whether fortunately or unfortunately, they're beautiful women, just like there are hunky guys. Some guys are just hunky. That's just the way it is. I was not a hunky guy, you know. But and that's okay. But we are who we are. But in this beautiful woman thing, is she is she feminine though? And some of these beautiful women now are lesbians, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but they don't relate to men. So in that dancing scenario of life, that attraction supposedly between men and women, and that in this dance of life, there is this essence of women, there is this musk of men who attract each other in this dance of life. And whether they get pregnant and have children or not, there is still this dance of life between the feminine energy, with the feminine energy, with the divine feminine, you know? But in looking around these days, where in the hell is there even a divine energy? I mean, honest to God, where has the divine energy gone? This thing, oh, the Mother Earth thing. Well, yeah, but it's Mother Earth, but it's become the climate. Oh, but it's the climate change. Well, yeah, the Mississippi River is like low. So is the Ochlockonee River. I went over 2 places today and it's really low. But such is life. The Ochlockonee's been low before. So is the Mississippi. Will the Mississippi stay dry? I doubt it. But right now it's a pain in the butt because it's so low. Has it been this low before? Yeah, not too many years ago. It got low as hell, remember? And we made it. We didn't die. The America and the world didn't, frazzle to death. Um, how long will it take for it to fill back up? Who knows? But it has, you know, it has been dry before it will flow again, you know, hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be a great big ditch, you know. But I seriously doubt it because there's too much watershed north that, when the season comes and the rains come, it will fill back up, you know. Just like the Ochlockonee River will. Right now, the little Ochlockonee in our backyard there's just puddles. It's not flowing at all. But this is not the first time, nor will it be the last. But it is Mother Earth. And my friend asked me tonight, she said, what do you think? Do you think that this is God or Creator kind of getting back at us or trying to wake us up? Or what the fudge do you think is going on here? And I told her, I said, remember a few years ago, I had some of these prophetic dreams that really kept me awake at night and freaked me out. And I saw all these things, and Mother Mary was trying to explain some things, and White Dove was there and explaining things, It's been a real dry here in Kansas. Yeah, I miss Texas. Okay, I'm multitasking. Okay. But anyway, 12, 12. Yeah, let's do a 20 together, y'all. For those of you who have to do a 20, let's do a 20 if you would like. And but so there's so much out there that where is the divine feminine? I mean, that's it's almost like climate change has nothing to do with the earth. the earth has everything to do with climate change. I was looking up at the sky before I started the live stream. And of course, I'm waiting on Duggar to come home. He's out there hopefully hunting for armadillos. That a few nights ago, I looked up in the night sky, and this is the time of year when, you can see Pleiades really easy, and you can see where Orion is, and a couple of other, easier to spot constellations in the fall and winter sky. And so I looked up and I was like, where's Pleiades? And a couple of weeks ago, it's been overcast, so hard to do a check with the sky, because I was doing the earth wobble thing, but I haven't been able to check. So I'm looking up at the sky, and Pleiades is like, like right straight over the head, straight. I mean, straight overhead, 90 degrees straight up, and actually over the house a little bit. So it's a little north, north of east and west. But yesterday or the night before, or whatever it was, I went outside, and Pleiades is like over here in the sky. I'm looking up and I'm like, whoa, there it is, and from over here to over here is at least 20 degrees. And this is like in less than a week, just in a few days. And I'm like, holy crap, So are we still in an earth wobble? The answer is yes. It's, I want to say it's subtle, but we are still in an earth wobble. And it can be stable for a few days, and I don't know what like bugs it to get us to rotate around. So that ain't got wait, let me, before I say that, I was going to say that ain't got nothing to do with climate change, but actually it does. So the fact that the earth is wobbling, some few days we're too far south, we're, leaning this direction. And folks can argue with me, but go outside and look at the damn constellations. When Pleiades is overhead one day and it's over here the next day, we're wobbling. Those constellations aren't the ones who are wobbling. So with wobbling Mother Earth, the divine energy is in a rotational, wobbly, kind of drunken mood, if you will. Our sense of the divine energy, in my humble opinion, and I bring this up for discussion, in my humble opinion, the wobbling of Mother Earth and of the earth is also in this weird way, because of all the chaos on top of the planet, it is got the divine energy wobbly. You know what I mean? The divine energy is staggering drunk. Not as a drunkard per se, drunk off of, but the fact that it's wobbling and is having trouble walking straight. So couldn't that be a reason for the continued splintering of the feminine energy? You know what I mean? That and other, back in the day there was there was Mother Earth, there were women, and there were still gay men and women back in the day. It's not like, um gay people have quit being here or whatever. Is it time yet? What time is it? 1:17. Okay. So I had this AI mind control used on me in 1988. Yeah, we've all had not to put what happened to you, Mossy Man, down, but we've all had, AI infusion, diffusion, and infusion. And some people are, going to get into it more and more in ways. Um, but so here is one of my things is that, do you think that the splintering of feminine energy is happening? Do you think the splintering of this energy has anything to do with how we're doing today as a people, as a society? You know, is do you think that this if you believe that the splintering of the feminine energy is happening, and I just pose these questions, think about it. Do you think that this splintering of the energy is good for the rest of the planet, kind of thing? Now, here's something that I noticed that here coming out soon is new Marvel, Captain Marvel or something, and it's a girl, it's a woman. And then here's another Captain Marvel thing, and she's a girl. So, no offense to the women and Captain Marvel or whoever. I thought Captain Marvel was a freaking guy. Captain Marvel, but that was a guy. But now Captain Marvel is a woman. And and now this other superhero person is a woman. So, in order to, show us men and to be politically correct, now you can't be if you're a guy, you can't be a superhero because now it's all women taking over the roles. Is that really a good thing? It's time. Close enough. And I'm sorry, the female version of Captain Marvel does not look like a captain to me, but looks like somebody in a costume that should be doing pole dancing. I'm very sorry to say, but and I'm all for female in roles and action roles and all that kind of thing. But when they try to make them Captain Marvel, well, wait a minute, what happened to the guy? I used to read Captain Marvel magazine comic books when I was a kid. When did he turn into a girl? When did Captain Marvel say, "Well, I'm not here anymore. I'm gonna, I think Captain Marvel should be a woman now"? What the fudge? What? And this superhero now is a woman, not a transvestite, but a woman. Wait. Where along the lines from all these age old 50 years or more comic books and the storyline did Captain Marvel become a woman? I'm like, why did you have to change the storyline? Could it be lieutenant, corporal? It's got to be captain and it's got to be a woman. But what happened to the guy, Captain Marvel? You know what I mean? For a long time, Captain Marvel's the guy. So is this politically correct? I'm all for women showing off and doing stuff. I think it's great, honestly. But this thing that they've got to change the narrative, like Snow White is a black girl. Come on, I'm going to fart myself to death on that one. What? No, hang on. Snow White is Snow White, for crying out loud. I mean, Hansel and Gretel could be a mixed brother and sister or something, but Snow White being a black girl, come on. You know, no. So those people that feel that they have to change that, are screwing with the divine feminine. Why? Well, but here's a girl, and we want all women to feel, yeah, but if the story is about Snow White, it's about Snow White. Sorry, you can't put a Snow White girl as a slave in Roots or whatever. Come on. Oh well, here's this white girl we're going to put in as a slave. No, 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 no. It don't work that way. Well, Snow White's Snow White. You can't put a white girl as a slave in a slave hole with roots and all that. And they would never think of doing that, right? But they would think of the idea that we could put a black girl in a white role because, ooh, Cinderella, and ooh, these Snow White, and ooh, make up your own. Of 123, yeah, I'm a couple minutes mirror. So tell these other stories, but quit trying to change the narrative on everything. I mean, there are some great women actresses, okay? I support them, I do. But I do not support the reversal and what seems to be, I mean, like the Discovery, the Star Trek with the new generation thingy. You look at those people who are on the the um the bridge of I guess it's still the Enterprise, Discovery. There's like one guy and he's an alien, you know, and the rest are women. The one's an obvious gay woman, short hair, and there's a black woman over here that's doing this. There's the black woman who is being the captain, and then there's this person over here who's a woman, and so there's a person back here, and she's a woman. And wait a minute. So, here's the crew of the Discovery, which is the Enterprise in the future. They're mostly women. Ooh, Discovery, you know. But so is it that in having women in all these roles because they have been left out before, I feel like, well, you're discriminating against men, but flat out, you're discriminating against men. That character couldn't have been a guy. Well, he's a sort of a guy alien, you know. If he's got an alien, but he's sort of guyish. But that's a woman, and that's a woman, and this one's a. You're looking around at the different stations on the bridge; they're all women. What's that all about? Oh, but we're breaking traditions. Yeah, but you're basically throwing the male entity out of the equation entirely, and that just ain't so. That just ain't so. Sprinkle here and there, equality, equal. Nope, it's got to be all of these women characters. Okay, but we feel equality in with women, and equality with women doesn't mean that everything should be ruled by women. Then that would mean that we are becoming Amazons with bows and spears, and lock up all the men and kill off all the men, and is that where we're headed? Because it seemed like it, with all these different things, with all these different roles being switched around and everything. And oh well, equal this and equal that. Well, then there's stupidity. The next thing you'll be seeing is they'll be changing, they'll redo. I'm sorry. Let me take a hit. We'll talk about this. They're going to redo Bonanza. It's going to be a woman and three daughters. You know, they're going to redo the westerns. You know, well, they had what's her name was a woman on the westerns years ago. I can't think of her name right now. But you know, when the West was very young, there lived a man named Masterson, you know, Bat Masterson. And it's actually a woman now, you know, even though he had women characters in there, you know, it's, you know, oh God. Uh, they'll, they'll be changing the Westerns now. You know, the Magnificent Seven will be three women riding, you know, all these women riding in on horseback and doing the, you know, the you shoot out at the OK Corral, you know. Those things are sort of traditional where it's really hard to say, you know, that oh, who was him and his brothers anyway. Um, you know, Chester with Marshall Dillon now is a girl. You know, well, I don't know. I don't know, Mister Dillon. You know, would you reckon we ought to go down to the saloon? You know, but anyway, Barbara Stanwyck. I knew you'd come up with it, Barry. Barbara Stanwyck. Yep. And she was a good actress too, and you know, up in the movies and all, and to play a um, a weekly sitcom, you know, a Western sitcom, you know, was a tribute to her because she put up with it and she did it, and she rode horses and wagons and stuff, you know, and she was there, so you know, hey, good for her, you know, honestly. And she should have been, and I don't know how, I've not heard much about how women looked up to Barbara Stanwyck, but you know, in my humble opinion, back in the day, when she was, you know, being the woman and the thing and the ranch and all, you know, that should have been Harry Ball, says Owen. Well, most of us with balls are hairy, but just saying. Um, and they're hard to pluck out. Um, So, but in this thing about that women have to take over everything just to prove a point, in my humble opinion, the point that you have proven it that you're, you know, that you're biased in all ways. You know, you don't want equality. You want to rule, like my ex-wife. She wanted to rule everything I did, and I couldn't speak for myself. She spoke for me, and it's like, no, get out of here. So I'm a little pissed at some of this new feminism thing. I'm all for you, ladies. I am. I will stand up for you and fight for you. But this bullshit, you know, and I know that all women are not like this. See, so I understand this. But so for you women, do you see what they're doing? So for these good men, I'm too old to worry about dating and having a wife and all that kind of shit. I would love a companion though, but anyway, but to the point of the matter of life, younger people is how is this affecting men in general? Men don't want to, but they don't want to bother with women anymore. Screw you, you know. I'm going to stay home I'm going to live with mama in the basement because you all just, you know, And, everywhere I look, it's woman, woman, woman. Everything has got to be a woman, woman, woman. And masculinity has been torn down. But at the same time that masculinity has been torn down, because the woman has to be the at least the equal, which I don't have an issue with, but has now got to be superior. Look at how many women now are in the kung fu movies and stuff, and how many men they kick ass with. You know, um, you know, but in the kung fu movies, they couldn't throw women in there to kick ass with, even though there were kung fu movies with women who kicked men's asses, right? So, but there was never a bunch of women and men, usually, who were in the kung fu movies equally kicking each other's butts. It was always men. Okay. And now, but things are even changing in that respect. Oh, the kung fu master is now got to be a woman. Oh, the whoever the kung fu person is. Oh, the Shinsu, sword bearer is got to be a woman. And isn't but wait a minute. I mean, okay, but some of these, even the Chinese, they were guys. I'm sorry, they were guys. Not to say that the women can't or couldn't or didn't, but women in China had their feet bound. They weren't these, bandits, no, at customs and things. And so it's like, I don't have issue with them bringing forth these strong women in swords fighting and stuff. I think they're great, but to the realism of things, they're taking over men's roles that were not traditional, but they're showing them as this is the way it was. Was it really? Not really, no, because women were considered as hoes. They were considered as concubines. They were considered like slaves. Even wives were considered as slaves. So this idea that Chinese women and all, and they were sword fighting, and I see this coming of age and everything, but they're taking older stuff and putting women into these roles. Is my point. And okie dokie, it's a good movie, but it ain't really true. And you're going to put thinking women that were no, they were slaves and whores and concubines, and no, they're still not very highly regarded in China and so forth and places. So especially with rulers and kings and magistrates, and women were just here, I want your wife, go get Kung Fu's wife and bring her here. He wants to have a go at her. What? Yep. So there, and go ahead, argue with the emperor, you know, um, or whoever. So, cruel bastards in a lot of ways, but that's how women were treated. So, and I'm all for equality, but the equality doesn't seem to be equal anymore. It seems to be very lopsided. And for me, it's like I'm too close to the end of my life to really worry about this, but I am worried about this for future generations. I mean, I'm like, what? How's this going to really work out in the future for society? You know, how look how screwed up some of this stuff already is. Our is Mother, I think Mother Earth is going to be able to right herself back around, and the Mississippi River will get water again, like the Ochlockonee River will. And I think that, certain things will change and go back. And yes, I think that's going to happen. We just have to kind of sit back and wait for Mother Earth to come back around. But my friend was like, what do you think about this, Dave? Do you think, is this Mother Earth doing this? And I said, this is what I saw a couple of years ago. And I've talked to y'all about this. Not that I'm a prophet, but this is what, was shown to me in this, that there are people who need to get slapped in the face before they really pay attention. Not that it's about climate change, because that's not it. Climate change on this planet has been going on for thousands of years. This ain't the first time the Mississippi River's been dry. It's happened recently in history. I remember back in the day when I was much younger. I can't remember when, but the Mississippi was dry. I remember when it was flooded. I remember when, several times when the Mississippi was up so high that, that it was going to flood it, the New Orleans and places and stuff. And it flooded other places along up around St. Louis. It flooded back in the day. So it's been way high and it's been way low. It's cyclical. It is what it is. XX, good evening, by the way. And good morning, too, depending on where you're at. The Barbara Stanwyck, I just recently saw a movie where she was the hero, law girl. Yeah. From the Netherlands. Oh, goodness gracious. How is it over there? Honestly, we get at 7:39 a.m., eh? Well, good morning to you, XX. The Netherlands. I don't know if we have anybody that I'm aware of that from the Netherlands. Richard's from the UK, and I know we got somebody from Austria. We've got several folks from Australia. Oh, there's somebody up around Ireland or something, I think, that we have, or Scotland-ish. But the Netherlands, welcome. I'm in South Georgia in the US of A. And some folks would call me a redneck. And I've been a hippie all my life until recently. And now I'm a redneck hippie. Actually, I think there's a lot of rednecks who have become hippies. But, like, here's my 20, y'all. I'm still working on. I think that it's going to take some powerful women to stop the bullshit. Okay? They're going to say there's going to take some strong women who are going to need to stand up and go, okay, enough is enough. There's all these women on the bridge of the Discovery now, and in the future of Star Trek thingy. Okay. But there should be balance. That's what it should be. It should be balance, not it's got to be all women. Okay, great. You've got a woman that's a captain. Wonderful. Janeway on, the Enterprise thingy. It's not Enterprise, but so Miss Janeway, she was, and her pilot thing, number one was a guy. So and it's sort of a pirate at that. But the idea though but to have balance, honest to God balance. Well, yes, you can have a woman as an engineer, and maybe that engineer woman is also a lesbian. Okay, not a problem. And that's one of the cases in one of the series or whatever. And that woman who plays that is a wonderful actress, but she's a gay woman playing a gay woman in a relationship on one of the starships. Okie dokie. But she's an engineer. So, and she's a good engineer, regardless of what her sexual orientation is. Not a problem, in my humble opinion. that character in that role shows a good example of, a gay woman in a situation, blah, 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 which might obviously it was an engineer, Geordie, and it was the guy, So no, now that this is a woman, not a problem. She's a gay woman, um, the idea that women can be in these roles, I don't have issue with. But it's when everybody's got to be a woman. Everybody's got to be female in some way. Everybody's got to be, the doctor in one of these things is he's a gay man with another gay man. And they have issues, but see, they're not men. They're gay men. Oh, but they're two guys. They're two gay men. They're not regular guys. Well, one's a doctor and one's a something, but they're two gay men. I don't have an issue with it. But you're saying, but they're men. No, they're not the manly man. Sure enough, put on some aqua velva. They're not guys. They're gay men. Okay. So you say, but they look like guys. They look like men, but they're gay men. Okay. They don't act the same way us guys do. All right. Not to put them down or anything, but you say, so you've got all these women in all these roles that, okie dokie. But then for your balance of men and women, they're two gay men. Is that balance? I don't think so. So why are they trying to lean everything to one way? And I think personally it's because they didn't get their way for so long that now that they've got their freaking way to do what they freaking want to do, they freaking want to bend every one of us over and make us think this way. That, all these people on the Discovery Channel, they're all women, and isn't that great? Okay. And in the balance of, look, we've got these other guys over here. Well, one's a robot, one's an alien, and these other two men are gay that aren't really men. So where's your thing about this? It's pedophiles everywhere. That too. Hey, Katniss, how you doing? Thank you, XX. Do you have pedophiles everywhere over there in the Netherlands? Or are you talking about in the grand scheme of things? Yeah, like unless. XX, did you get a lot of migrants into the Netherlands? And if so, have you seen a change since they've been there? I'm curious and I want to know because of other things that I've heard. And also, XX, I'm curious. I've heard from other places and people that I know and this and that, and that Finland has a lot of Russians. Is that true? Because y'all kind of up there together, but I was just curious. Wait, I got to read this. Yes, in the government, like judges. Oh, are you talking about pedos in the government, like the judges? Oh, yeah, I would account for that down here too. It's really a shame and how them sons of bitches got there, and how they got elected and how did we get here, And so having been, XX, you're new to my channel, but I was pedoed by priests back in the late 60s and early 70s. So I know about powerful men and so forth, and having had gone that route and so forth, and being and having that screwed up a bunch of my life. I, I, I really relate to the pedo thing, and it pisses me off. I can get really upset really quick over that. But having been around people with that exert that kind of power over people, whether it be pedo power or they use the pedo power over women too. Um, we love Russia and Putin. He and Trump and the only ones around, only ones normal. Thank you, God, Jesus, XX. I absolutely believe the same thing. I have believed Putin for a long time. So I think you're a very smart man. I think, oh, you think I'm a very smart man? I try to be. I'm here, my channel has been here because I was instructed by my spirit guides to have conversations, to have open discussions and say, hey, listen, if you hadn't thought about it, think about it, whether I'm right or wrong. But, I try to glean information from all different kinds of places. So, and to try to share it with y'all in some kind of, concise way, with a little bit of humor thrown in, and one of these days, of course, my computer don't work anymore with the camera. I would love to be able to share the screen and stuff. And now I'm rigged up with my cell phone to do live streams, but it's all good. Apparently somebody somewhere don't like me talking, and maybe it's because I've got so many videos out there over many years now. And there's been a couple of times where they not let me have that video up, and it's like, what did I talk about? Thank you, XX. I appreciate that. I'm humbled for all of you to be my friends and to be in the chat and for us to share. I thank you so much. But in this grand scheme of things, I'm worried for y'all who are younger than me, who have got to somehow figure out a way to balance this feminine thing, you know? And it's going to be people like Michelle and Chloe and some other folks. It's going to take strong women who stand up and go, hang on, wait a minute. I want our womanhood back. I don't want to be called a baby procreator. I don't want to be called a breastfeeder. I don't want to be called these things. I've had enough. And I want women to stand up and stomp their feet and say, no, God dog it. This is stupid. No, stop it. Alex Jones told so many things, and no, I still. It all came out. He was, yeah, uh-huh. Who else is jumping in here? Jay Willie, you're right on point, bro. Thank you. But what King Arm? I don't understand that second part. A strong woman president, yeah. And Katniss, I know y'all are, and that's I want to speak to you all on that. But for future reference, God knows, does everything have to change? I mean, does everything have to change to where all the council people in on a school board now all have to be predominantly women? Well, I don't know, well, men have been in charge of this for so long. Okay. And now it's got to be, well, us women are taking charge now because you men have held on for so long. They're blaming it on us for having held these positions when these positions were always open for vote. Okay. So women could have run for these positions years ago. Oh, but the men were always in charge because they got voted in. Not because they were, sorry about that, but they were voted in by women, by the way, because women didn't run for the position, school boards and things like that, or mayors or whatever, So this idea that somehow men were in charge, no, women had the right to do that too. Same as vaccine for COVID. I was an outlaw and forced off, and we were forced to boost us. Oh crap! And two of my colleagues died of a heart attack after that. They were only 40 years old. Son of a bitch. And indeed, women should be women, taking care of our children and husbands. I don't necessarily mean that. I mean, in that woman's got to have a role kind of thing, because my first and second wives both worked, and we had a household, and we together took care of of our son. Um, and so, I know that there are husbands and wives that, I know folks now that the person who was here this evening for a visit, um, she was like, on this weekend she'll be married 17 years, and I've known them for most of those 17 years. And so it's like, so I'm sort of like an Uncle Dave, but at the same time, and I support her child in their dance and so forth and everything, and watching them grow up, and watching how they transition and how their opinions on things, and um, so I try to stay abreast of what's going on. And some of this is just nutty, but the women have always had the opportunity. She could stay. Right now she's staying home and doing housework and so forth, but back in the day she worked, and worked 40 hours a week and still took care of a younger child, and still took care of the household. So that doesn't take away her womanhood. She took a job, liked her job, was good at her job, and still took care of the household, and it didn't berate her as a woman because she was making as much as the men were in where she was working, because she was good at her job. Not because she was a woman, but because she was good at her job. And so she proved that as a woman, she could be as good as a man, and it was working for a boat manufacturer. Okay. So whatever job she had to do involved, like with fiberglass and stuff and building boats. Okay. So, but the fact that she could keep up with the guys, and but it also commanded her the same pay rate that the guys made because she was so good. So 20%. What? Wait a minute. Uh-oh. I thought my phone was charging, and apparently it's not. What the hell? Oh, my cord came out. Now it's charging again. The world is getting crazy. Yes, it is. It's getting that the chaos that's being put out there right now. Whatever, here in the Netherlands, a man dressed up as a woman won Miss. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Is that is that screwed up or what? I mean, no offense, but is that screwed up or what? A guy dressed up as a woman won the Miss, Miss pageant over there. You too, Steve. Yeah, have a great morning and have a great tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday. But yeah, and XX, that's to my point. It's like one could argue about beauty contests, but beauty contests were supposed to be for women, you know, and that was the feminine side of things. And men used to oogle and Google, okay, XX, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. But, you know, the fact that, you know, that's sort of what I mean about the feminine. For years and years and years, women signed up to be Miss America or to be Miss Georgia or to be Miss Moultrie or to be Miss Watermelon Festival or to, man, I've known some of these young girls who have, you know, friends of mine over many years. And, you know, she couldn't wait to get old enough to, you know, to become a Miss Peach Festival or something in the local community. And I'm not sure if she won or not, but she was just so happy to be a part of the pageant. And it's a small town, but it was, she was with her peers and other girls, and they all, you know, who's going to be and who's going to do. And they all did their hair up, and they, you know, the beauty they wanted to be girls, they wanted to be young women. And now this young women thing is not the same. It is not the same. You know, it is not the same. And so at her age, the girl I'm thinking of, she would have children now. And her children would be of the age, if she had a daughter, and I'm just assuming this, but if she had a daughter, that her daughter now, so this is a generation down. Yeah, we'll talk another time. Absolutely, XX. Thank you. Keep the faith and stay out of the chaos, XX. So, but, you know, would she allow her daughter to, even though she had been part of the pageant thing, even on a small scale, would she allow her daughter now to be in a pageant? It's 15 years, 20 years later. Her daughter's old enough and so forth. Would she, and would her daughter feel the same way she did about being in a pageant? Would she think it was magical and it was really cool and all her friends and all the this and the hair? Would she think that it was that magical to her daughter? So in these several generations in my lifetime and seeing and knowing people, and it's like things have changed. So the feminine side of things, only a naturally born woman would be in a contest made for women. If trannies want to be Miss whatever, then it needs to stay real women Miss America. Yeah, and they have best tranny awards and stuff in Las Vegas and all over the place. So it's not like trannies don't get a chance to compete, Chloe and the rest of you. They have all the opportunities in the world to always compete and to be Miss whoever, you know? So it's not like that they have been put down. I mean, God almighty, look at RuPaul and what he's on TV and stuff. Well, today's fashions are not the same as 15 years ago. Before had some class. Today, they're kind of hooch designed. I don't understand where some of these designs are at all. They're stupid. They're just trying to create an impact. I wanted to make a statement. Yeah, but it's a fucked up statement if you ask me. Yeah, have a real woman contest. You know, Trannies of America, stand up and have your own Tranny America contest. Go for it. You know, I might even watch, you know, seriously, to see how well you do it, you know. So there are, you know, who's the best tranny in Georgia? You know, there's a bunch of them in Atlanta, you know. So go up there, have a contest, and you will represent Georgia at the Mr. Miss Tranny, you know, for Georgia contest. You know, support your local tranny, and off to Las Vegas or wherever, Atlantic City, or pick a spot, you know. and have your Miss America contest or Miss Tranny America. Go for it. Go for it. I mean, RuPaul's all sort of the way it is anyway with dressing up, and RuPaul's all this stuff. And, and there are about many women that I would, oh, I love to watch RuPaul. No shit. Okie dokie. Oh, I think these gay men and what was it? The gay thing, and they had to dress them up and all that. Anyway, okay, straight women talking about how much they like to watch the gay guys on TV. Okay, so manly men ain't got a chance because the women are watching the gay guys, and the gay guys ain't representing men. They're guys who are gay. No, they're not men. They're not men. So what of us guys do? We're actually in a lot of ways in the minority, who thought it was appropriate for the tranny shaking boobs naked to the camera on the White House. Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. And then later on the comment and how they acted and so forth is like, and they did it in the White House, you know. And I'll tell you what, there are several, I want to say, I don't know how else to put this, black channels that I have subscribed to on YouTube. And these folks have got, a decent amount of followers, and I'm an old white guy following this middle-aged black man who's given opinions and who's given opinions like a lot of other black people are doing, both men and women. And I've subscribed to both of those types of channels, men and women, black men and women, and to listen to their point of views. And it's like they are appalled at so many things, and that you hear the newspapers and news outlets and folks talk about the black communities and how black people think, and black people are speaking up and going, I'm sorry, but I don't think that way. I don't think that all white people are racist. I don't think that, blah, 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 blah. I voted for Biden and I'm sorry. Now I understand that Trump might be the guy. And I'm not necessarily, Trump is more the guy than somebody else at the moment. We'll see how JFK does. I'm subscribed to come to some black channels, but not any that are female hosted. If I relate, I follow. If I don't, I bounce. Yeah, me too, Scotty boy. But some of these guys, and I can't think of them offhand, right? The names of them. But to my point, though, that I want to listen to see what these black normal folks like me have to say about stuff, and the people that they know, and how they react. And wait a minute, I'm an old white guy, and I don't feel that, I don't feel like I have any kind of white privilege. I've been thrown in jail twice. I'm not, I didn't get any white privileges. I get screwed over just like the black guys did, and the Mexican guys, and the Puerto Rican guys, and the Cuban guys that I was in jail with. So, wait a minute, and wasn't no white privilege there. Katie Hopkins. It sounds familiar, but I can't really place it. And but there are certain commentators too that I may not have subscribed to their channel, but that I will listen to if it comes up. So but I want to know what the other folks are thinking. I always have. Strong Woman was on The Apprentice. If I saw her, I might know who you're talking about. But anyway, so I'm, there are the women of The View. There's like, boy, have they put their foot in their mouth a few times, and there are a lot of women who are saying these women should go. that the women on The View have gone too far and they've overstepped their boundaries. They've said too much. And it's like women saying this. And because, if a man said it, whoops, you're a misogynist. You've got to be a Hitler. You got to be a Nazi. So you can't speak against these folks, even though they might be dead freaking wrong. Yes, I want to, stand behind a strong woman, but if you've got a perverted sense of reality, no, I'm also going to be, whether you want me to, if you want me to dress up as a girl and deliver it, maybe then you'll listen to me. Well, wait a minute. If I was a man and said that you were an idiot, then you wouldn't listen to me. Wait a minute. Let me trim my beard and put on a dress and some makeup and call myself a trainee and go, I really think you're kind of silly with some of this stuff that you're spouting, lady. I think your views are a little, let me do that as a tranny. Would that get your attention better? And would I somehow, because I'm a tranny now, would you listen to my opinion? Then would my opinion count as a tranny versus a man? What? How silly is this? There is the game of life. And I've always considered it, when I worked at Prestolite as an engineer, I had to be an engineer. When I came home, I put on my shorts and run around in my flip-flops or barefoot down here in the swamp. Not the same as going in and being an engineer and being the polite and the thing and blah, blah, blah. So that's not necessarily putting on a costume, but it is putting on a character. And it still is me. I am the engineer. I'm not trying to fake anything, but I have to be the engineer while I'm there. When I come home, I can just be me and just relax. I'm not just the engineer, right? So, of course, you're playing the game of life. You go to certain places. When I was on the carnival, hey, you got to call them in. You had to play the game. You had to play the game to get folks to come in and play your game or to come to your joint or whatever. So in life, it's always been a game for me. Although I don't look at it as I'm playing I'm trying to fake being no. If I'm an engineer, I have to put on the face of an engineer. If I'm taking somebody on the river as in a kayak and we're going on an adventure, I put on my Hawkeye Two Feathers hat and I'm the river guide, and so, but it's still me, right? But for each of us, there's the people that you're the mother or the father, or you have to go in and be the secretary, or or you lay fiberglass for boats or something, whatever it might be. You go in and play that part in life. So life is a play, life is a game, and that we all have to, quote, play our parts, unquote, in life. So then some folks have to pretend, if you're a tranny, are you really that person? Are you the tranny? And I've met some folks who they just like to dress up and think it's fun. But I'm a tranny and I just love to dress up. But see, they love to dress up because it's fun. They're not necessarily gay, but they sort of are, but they like to dress up because it's fun. But that's not really reality. But I like to dress up because it's fun. Okay, well, there are women who like to dress up in short skirts because it's fun. Okay, but they go to a job and they do stuff. But as some trainees I've seen and have met, it's like, oh, but I like to dress up because it's fun, gay fun. Yeah, and it's like, so, and who's that? Side what? Hang on, I got to put Side Cash. How you doing? Have a great day. Oh, see you, Katniss. Have a great one. Yep. Good to see you around. Oh, you from Tokyo? Oh, that's cool. That's cool, really. We just had somebody from the Netherlands, and now we got somebody from the other side in Tokyo. Wow, that is just cool. Honest to goodness. So, how is it in Tokyo? Are women women? Where am I from? I am from South Georgia in the United States. I'm just north of the Florida line. If you look at a at a map, there's Florida, which a lot of people know where Florida is, and Georgia's north of. I'm right across the line. So I am a true Southerner, although I was born in the North. Yeah, I really am reaching out tonight. Ain't that something? You know, we know folks in up in the British Columbia. Frank Gallagher. Who's Frank Gallagher? That name sounds familiar. But so anyway, in this feminineness that seems to be um, elusive at times, and with all the tranny business, and you know, okay, I've met some men who were men. Okay, they went to work during the day as just guys. All right, didn't try to be effeminate in any way or dress any particular way. They put on a common shirt and pair of pants and went to work. And then when they got home, and then they put their frillies on. You know, the Coca-Cola factory is in Atlanta. Yep, one of them. That's where Coca-Cola originated from. Was in Atlanta. That's for true. We don't play these what games. Oh, Chloe, you sneaky thing, you. And I'm too trusting. Whoa, crap. I think I'm too much like Otter and Porcupine. But thinking about the Porcupine thing and the divine feminine thing and um sharing the divine feminine, that men should, you know, not necessarily be trannies, but men should show their female side. Like maybe it's to help take care of the kids, or maybe it's, cooking a meal or so, or taking some kind of responsibility that is commonly quote the woman's job, the household, and take care of the household and the kids. I always would, we had kids, and my kid and her kids, and there were three kids in the household. I always tried to treat all of the kids equally, which created issues because my son knew, he was like, wait a minute, you're going to treat me like these two brats, and I don't even know them. What the hell's going on? And it created conflict, and I'm like, listen, in life, we should treat each other equally, whether they're your true brothers and sisters or not. They get their kids, and they should get treated equally. Well, he felt like he got slighted because I treated kids that weren't mine equally with him. So, he's like, well, wait a minute, you're my father. Why are you giving them the equal treatment? I should get something extra, And in a child's eyes, that's kind of hard to, explain. Some could, he's a Gemini. Gemini, yeah. And some folks just don't get it, and he just one way or the other anyway. But so and we don't see eye to eye to this day. Then and that's his fault. Because I'm available with a local call. I'm available. He knows where I live. I'm available at any time, and he has decided not to reach out to me in any way, shape, or form after having folks at the hospital sort of in and out. Did you know your dad was in the hospital again for a heart attack? So what? Okay. So, if that's how he wants to be, then that's how he wants to be, you know. Um, I'm not faulting him for it if that's if that's the way he wants it. I have agreed to stay out of his life and not bother him and his family. And, if he chooses, I feel because of the promise that I made to stay out of his life and not interfere, because I it seemed that I was, I live in this shack down here in the woods and I'm not up to standards, literally not up to standards. So that if you feel that the 3-bedroom brick house on a big thing, and that and that and having all these riches and a fancy house and a this and a that, and and he's been like that for years. So the fact that his wife wouldn't even get out of the car here, uh, you know, is just like, nope, you grew up like that, Samuel? Oh my God. Oh, that trashy place down there, and you grew up like that. Oh, I can't believe it. And I've tried for years to try to do better, and the the place is trashy because I got piles of wood that I was working on trying to finish up my house and barns and sheds and stuff, and I needed help. And then I got my back, and then I got sick, and then I got too busy, and then but my place is trashy because I was trying to do better, and and it ended up looking trashy, but to the point where other people, but just because they have money, because they have good income, and they've had the opportunity to go to college and schools and have income, and so they make a 75 to $100,000 a year. And it took me 2 years to make $75,000, and so they were making twice the income as me and could afford all these fine things and buy these things and keep up. And here I am down here with a well that I literally dug myself as a pioneer. So no, I don't fit in their category, and they don't fit in mine. So he would rather live in that world rather than this world, and there's no cross in between. And so is it my fault because I still live like this? Even though if my back wasn't so bad, I'd be out there pouring concrete, you know um to finish up my porch out there, to finish up the house, and to, you know, I've asked people to help me replace my roof, for example. And so I don't want to live like this, but it's ended up that here I am at this age that I still have piles of wood in my yard, and I still haven't finished the project out front. But I got old and had 2 heart attacks and had back surgery, and you know living off the grid has potential. I'm almost off the grid. I mean, I'm almost off the grid. I have 2 1,000-gallon tanks behind the house that I collect rainwater. Um, the My electricity bill last month, with the air conditioner running because I have needed it with my heart attack, was $70, and that was running the air conditioner pretty much. Now that it's gotten cooler, this month should be about $50 for electricity. And I have low wattage bulbs that I use. I've got a lot of solar things around the house. The outside, my trolling motor batteries are being so charged with solar panels. So I've got two 12-volt batteries for my trolling motors, and I've got several solar panels. But this one is strong enough, it keeps the battery, it charges the battery up pretty damn quick. And I switch the panel between the two batteries that I have. But so if I want to go motorboating, I can go, with my trolling motor anytime I want to hook up. So, but anyway, so I've got, and the thing is that with the two batteries that I have, I've got 24 volts if I need them. And if the lights do go out, I've got 12 volts. It's very relaxing. Something I missed that. Sorry. Damn neighbors out are going after it. 123. Oh, we missed a 20. Ooh. Wait, let me catch up. Oh, yeah, we did. I missed a 20. I'll catch up. So, for me, I am off grid in a way. It is convenient to have the electricity. And I could get all these inverters and all this other kind of stuff. But as long as I can keep my electric bill as low as I do at around $50 a month on average, that I'm willing to pay it. Because in order to have inverters and battery banks and everything, it would cost me more than $50 a month in the long run to pay for the batteries, and every year or so I'd have to replace them, and the thingy and the chargers and and I've got too many trees overhead on the house that to put solar panels on the roof is not viable for me. Out there in the field, and see, with my boat and these solar panels that I have, I can pull the boat out in the middle of where it's sunny all day long and charge up batteries, and then move the boat around wherever I need to, if I need 12 volts. And I've got all kinds of 12-volt appliances. So I'd have plenty of 12-volt stuff if I need it. Now, if I have to, I've got 2,000 gallons of water that I can draw out at any time, the gravity feed. I can go up to the well with a bucket and drop it down the hole, because I dug the well myself, and pull up water if I need it. So, hey, Palladino, how you doing? Let me see. I forget your first wire. What's up? How are you doing? Doing the best I can, trying to share the love with folks. So, but with the trying to stay on topic with the women thing. One reason why I couldn't get a long-term relationship is because I live this way. Well, what do you mean? Well, I only turn on the hot water heater when I need the hot water heater. It's not on all the time. You want to take a shower? Turn on the hot water heater. When it gets hot, take a shower. When you get done, leave it on long enough for the hot water heater to recover, then turn it off. Hot water heater stays warm. I don't use enough water to keep the hot water heater on all the time, but it's convenient. Stop it. Convenient. So when it costs me $25 a month to run the hot water heater all the time. I have checked it. I know. So no, I'm not running it all the time just because you want it to be convenient. Sorry, plan around it. you know, oh, but you don't do this, and you've got a well that, and so that's why I don't have a date. That there aren't any women who would live close to in this day and age. You don't have a dishwasher? No. You got two hands? then there you got a dishwasher. Nope. And at the moment, I don't have a washing machine either, which has been inconvenient as hell. But I wash a lot of things out by hand, and I use the water that I wash out by hand in the bathroom, and I use the water and I flush the commode with it. So I'm using gray water versus fresh water to flush my commode. Tinder is for all ages. I just think I'm too old for that shit. I tried online dating 2 or 3 times. And the last time I tried it, I actually met a person. Our issue was that we were too old and we had each our own medical conditions. And it was a 3-hour drive one way for us. And but she was a lovely lady and we got along really well. And it's a shame that we couldn't have made more of it, but it is what it is. So but she was a lovely lady, and hopefully she still is. I don't know if she's still alive or not. She had some major issues with some of her internal organs, kind of thingy. And but yeah, as a Libra, I always thought that, to be balanced, that I would need that female side, that I would have a companion that would sit on the porch in the evening and watch the sun go down and hold hands and hug and give a kiss, and that would be every night that we could sit and watch the sun go down and do things together. And, just so for me, it didn't work out that way. But I think it was because in a previous life, I was literally a bastard and beat a woman, and might have killed her actually, um, and was not a nice guy. And that the woman that I previous life and near here too, near where I live at the moment, um, and that she was to what the locals would call a squaw. Now that's calling her a horror bitch, but that I married a um, um, an Indian woman who had a child, and I did not like the child. And every time I'd get drunk on moonshine, I was cruel to the woman and her child, and that I beat her and just was not a nice guy. And that was me in a previous life here, right? So the reason I can't have a stable relationship this time around, in my humble opinion for me, is that I screwed up big time last time around. So it's like I had to learn about relationships. So it's like, well, okay. And it's taken me a while. It's taken me a good 10, 15 years to like come to this conclusion that the older I've gotten is like, well, wait, I don't want to be alone. I want to have a wife. I would still like to be sexually active. I would still like to, kiss and cuddle and hug and watch a movie together. I would still like that. But but in this lifetime, for me, because of a previous lifetime of being a bastard, that I had to learn, what I guess in a way, what womanhood, like, do I always respect women? Absolutely. I've had a lot of women friends. Um, but at the same time, a woman friend is not the same as having a companion. Or, like my friend who was here this evening, who will be married 17 years this Saturday or this weekend, right? So, I would love to have had that relationship. I would love to have had that feminine, okay? I'm still on topic. So for me, the feminine has been elusive. It's been, flighty at best. 2 or 3 years, marriage or a relationship, and then it's gone. A little a taste of what feminine companionship could be, or for me, what I've always hoped that would be, not could be, but that would be. So, and then to find out that, well, maybe not for me, for whatever reason, I have not been able to find that feminine for me. So, but that I still have feminine, I still know women. And, when talking with the nurses in the hospital and so forth, always remember there's a hero in all of us. I absolutely believe that, Side Cash. Absolutely. Male or female, that doesn't matter. Oh, my abused body is hurting now. I need help. I'm moving. I'm moving. Help. My last support died a year ago last month. Yeah, if I can get my shit together, Barry, I'd come out there and help you out at least a couple of months a year. you know, I could close up here and go visit you for a couple of months. But but anyway, life keeps throwing us curves. You know, it's like I was humming along until I had a heart attack. And then it was like, whoops. Now all of a sudden, it's like, there's a curve. And life throws you these little curveballs, and it's not just because I'm 71. There's, other folks who are having issues at much, you know, much younger than me. So I appreciate the fact that I'm as healthy as I am. But at the same time, I want to get up and go do some stuff. I don't want to be slow and and less active. I want to be up and running, and I want to go find me a female that'll go kayaking with me. Hell, I find a guy. I guess maybe if I could find a tranny, I'd go. I can't believe I just said that. That sounded prejudiced and ugly. Who knows? I mean, uh, not that I would date anybody or anything, but you know, I'm open. If you're a decent person, then I don't really care. And so, if there was a person that I knew who was a tranny, but who was a decent person, like my buddy that I just talked about, that we'd done theater together, and he had always said, if you ever want to, have a, if you ever want to come over to our side, let me know, Dave, and I'll, and it never worked out between us, and I just don't swing that way. But the idea, if he was to contact me now, and knowing that he wasn't a drag queen, but he did dress very nice and fancy, and like to be fancy and a little flamboyant. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But that if he contacted me now and said, "Hey, let's go kayaking or something," I would go, "Okay." Even though I know he's gay and and our history together, but I'd go kayaking, sure. And somebody said, "Well, you went kayaking with this, and you know he's gay?" Well, yeah. Well, we've been friends, and I've known him for years. And if he contacted me and said, "Hey, I heard you kayak, would you go with him?" I'd say, "Yeah." So I'm still open to quote relationships, and people that I've known. And so somebody went, if they were gay or tranny or whatever, and wanted to contact me and want to go paddling, okay. So I'm not trying to be prejudiced, but I think that some of these guys are doing it for attention. Some of these guys really do like being, they really do like wearing pantyhose. They really do like the idea of a bra. They really do like the idea of how do I look in this dress. And so somewhere along the line, the idea that, but I don't consider them, I consider them a real tranny. Okay. Where there I have known men who like dress up because it's fun. Ooh, look at me and look at how I look and oh how pretty I am and moochie to the camera and do all this other kind of stuff where the real tranny friend I've known are they just like to be the way they are. They don't necessarily want attention. They just like to dress up as women. That's the true tranny to me, versus these, ooh, look at me, look at me. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. So there are levels of this transvestitism. And over my 71 years and being in the carnival and folks and growing up and being on the street for a while and so forth and tamping around, I've met all sorts. Okay. And, God bless the true transvestites who like to dress up in women's clothes, and that's it. And to some of them, it excites them to wear women's panties. Okay. I don't see where women, lesbians, like to dress up in men's clothes and wear leather. I don't see where that excites them, but okay. The reversal of things in that. But whatever floats your boat, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, unless those you're consenting adults to hurt each other, um, you know, then have at it. But at the same time, should we be concerned that we have lost a basic femininity, that we have lost the basic feminine? The divine feminine, I do believe, has been splintered and has been fractured. And there are different, like Miss America, but it's got to have transvestites in it. No, you don't. Miss America is for women only. If you've got a ding-a-ling, you do not qualify. And I don't care if you hack that some bitch off, you are still not a woman. You do not qualify. Okay, so women, true women with vaginas only, can enter the Miss America contest. For Miss Universe, Miss Universe it should be women only. Oh, but Finland, we heard from then, has a man dressed as a woman who won the women's competition. No. Sorry, but then you would not qualify to run for Miss Universe or Miss Planet or Miss World or Miss Europe or Miss anything. You can run for a Miss Transvestite World, Junior, Planet, Universe, but if you got a ding-a-ling, you do not qualify. And that's it. Y'all have your own pompous things and pageants and things. You have your own pageants. Not a problem, but don't include the two. That's just wrong. Sorry. Because we're losing the divine feminine is my biggest point. And women, stand up and tell them no. Sorry, we do not agree. We do not agree. This is a woman's thing. And but a beauty contest for women are exploiting women. Well, they're exploiting themselves. If they want to be in the beauty contest, like I was talking about a friend of mine's young girl, when she was 14 or 15, she entered this local contest and she loved it. And so did all the other little girls that, well, they were little girls to me, but they were 14, 15 years old in this pageant. They loved being in this pageant. They loved this little local community pomp and circumstance. They loved it. And they loved being girls. Uh, But there weren't any little boys trying to dress up as girls to get into the club. You know what I mean? So, and I see nothing wrong with that. If women want to dress up in dresses and be voted on as to who looks the best, fine. It's been going on for a long time. So, um, I think that it has gotten too crazy with some of these young kids who were sent to pomp and circumstance. And I know someone who was at the age of 3 was put into pomp and circumstance. And I always thought it was stupid. And now she's a little uppity about, well, I won all of these things and see how pretty I was back then. And I was a special person. And and it's like sort of narcissistic, you know what I mean? Oh, look at me. I won all the, and as a child, and I went to all these things, and she did. And her father was the one that really pushed her in this. He's a little gayish, you know, and very effeminate. And a nice guy, but very effeminate. And, so he wanted his little girl to be blah, 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 and etc. So, but with that said, though, that now her shit don't stink. Well, I'm too much above that, and I don't, blah blah blah, and well, I'm better than that, and you're not as good as me, and so what has pomp and circumstance done for that person? It made him very narcissistic, and now for the other girl, she made friends and they had a good time, and she wanted to do it versus her parents forcing her to be in these pageants. She wanted to be in this pageant, and it helped with her self-esteem, and it helped her come out because she was a real shy young lady. And and I knew her since she was a born kind of thing. And so I knew her father years before he was married to and so, but with all that said, um, so pageants helped out some ladies with their self-esteem and who they are, and whether they made it big or whatever, and then others were, you know, to turned into narcissistic bitches, you know, and that in some ways it's like, who do you want to carry feminism further? Who do you want to carry the torch of the real, sure enough, divine feminine? And it's not the second one. It's not the one who is narcissistic. It's not the one who's I did all everybody else's. No, it's the first girl, the one that wanted to be in the pageant, that wanted to show her femininity off, and to see if she could pull it off. Got this nice dress, and do y'all think I'm lovely? I'm with my other girlfriends and people from school and the community, and we know each other. Which ones do you think look best? Did I pick out the right dress? Do you think I look cute in this dress? And not so much nail biting and backstabbing, which that stuff goes on, but the fact that it was a fun experience for her. I think she come in at least third, but she was a little chunky, but a lovely girl. And very well endowed for her age, because her mother was. But very well endowed. But but not that that should have mattered, but just saying she really was. Um, for a 15-year-old girl, oh yeah, oh yeah. But you know, there were other girls that were very lovely as well, but just in comparison, she had them all beat in that respect. But anyway, um, and she didn't flaunt them. You know, she was actually very shy about it, which was cute. But anyway, so but the feminine side of things. So who would I, who would I choose of these two ladies, these two women, to carry the torch of womanhood? The first one, you know, she's the lady I would pick. She was more down to earth and more, I don't want to say homey or homely, you know, she was not that. But I mean, she was more down to earth, more homey, not homely, ugly, ugly and ugly and homely. No, the Lee sisters. I mean, whatever to each them, but judging people on how beautiful they are as well. But see, I agree with that. So, but they wanted to be in the contest, they, for whatever reason, they wanted to do it. So, in that respect, okie doke. But one could say, but you're still, you're trying to pick the most beautiful girl. But whatever these girls made themselves feel beautiful, if they wanted to enter to see what other people thought of them, okay, you know. Um, and for me, I would not join a who's the most handsome. you know, I would no. I'm sorry, no. I would have never entered that contest. Nope. Sorry. Um, Actor or something, yeah, okay, but as a as ooh, a handsome man. No, I would not enter that contest myself. But to the point though about the femininity, so whatever made these girls compete in that local Miss Watermelon contest, um, that who wants to be Miss Watermelon? Well, I do. I want to see that. So and whoever won Miss Watermelon contest, with the prettiest dress or whatever, the little, and they had a little talent show and everything, and so but whoever won Miss Watermelon contest for that year, you know um, um uh, okie dokie, or Miss Honeybee for the year, and the different people down near towards Valdosta. What's the little town I can't think of now? But anyway, they have a honeybee festival every year, you know. And then there's this one that's got a peach festival every year. So, and there are there are classes for the young, up to age of 10 or something, or 12 or something, and the young Miss Peach, queen, and then they've got the older Miss Peach Festival queen, and the girls apply, and they are voted on as to who, and they get the responsibility of being in the parade and wearing a little crown and everything. But if that's what they want to do, and all these little towns around here in South Georgia, and I'm sure other places, have these, Miss Queen Bee or Miss Watermelon or Miss Peach or Miss whoever, and don't the folks don't hold a gun to these women's head or girls to enter the contest. And as far as I know, guys have not been up to this point any trannies allowed to be in them. So, but so what? Now trannies are going to become the queen bee for the Miss Honey contest. where it's been for the last 50 years. It's always been a woman. But I'm a transvestite. And I want to, I want to be in the contest. I'm going to dress up, and because I represent myself as a woman. Wait a minute now, but for me, hang on. There's tradition. I'm sorry. In some ways, I think tradition's a good thing. But we've been doing it for 50 years like this. It's time for a change. No, wait a minute. Hang on. I think the fact that you've been doing something for 50 years means that you have a tradition and almost a duty to uphold the tradition, not change it. Oh, but we need to change it. It's been like this for 50 years. You need to leave it the hell alone because it is become a tradition. We don't have any respect for tradition anymore, which means we don't have respect for the true feminine anymore, because the true feminine is traditional, or should be. So we have thrown tradition out the window along with true feminine. Oh, what a crazy world we live in. Cheers. It's coffee. So how do we fix it? I never thought it would get this bad. I know a lot of us never thought it would get this freaking crazy. It would just not be this freaking goofy. Okay, we've got, gay people, and we've got lesbians and this and that and everything. Okay, that's fine. But then RuPaul, and not point fingers at him, he's got what he does and he does it well. But then there's all of this and all of that. And I'm sorry, but some of these guys who are dressing up to be beautiful women, and I'm going to be really blunt here, and I haven't been using the F word, but some of these dudes who are dressing up in drag are fucking ugly. They have no business being on the stage. They're fucking ugly. Get out of here. Get out, but get some. You're fucking ugly. I'm sorry. That's 3 times I've said it now. But I've seen some of these and I'm like, you're fucking ugly. I'm sorry. Oh my God. You're not even. Oh my God, you're fucking ugly. What the hell, you stupid son? But you're. No, I can't quit saying it because they're fucking ugly, And oh my God. It's not because you're a tranny. It's not because you're a man. It's because you're fucking ugly. That's it. That's it. That's it. You're. And here's the true feminine that I mean about this tranny who dresses up, who's on this stage trying to be beautiful, who's fucking ugly. And there are women who would look in the mirror and see themselves and go, I'm too fucking ugly to do this. They would go, no, I know I'm too fucking ugly. I'm not going to go up there and try to be beautiful. No, I'm too ugly. They would, But here's a man who dresses up as a woman, and because he thinks, he's got all that going for him, that the next thing you know, he thinks he's the God, God's gift to all kinds of stuff. And he's fucking ugly. A woman would, no, she would not. No, your butt sticking out, your this sticking out, you would never enter. You would never try to pull this off because you ain't got it. And that's not to say you couldn't get it, or, there's women who are, overweight, and, the new Kelly Clarkson, she's lost weight. And I noticed it in one of her commercials. I was like, oh, that girl's lost weight. She looks good, good for her, And, oh, I think that's my dog bouncing on the door. I might have to go let him in. But I tried to let you in before. But anyway, so, but whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, but some of these people who look at themselves in the mirror and they have this weird, twisted view that because they've put on makeup, a wig, and a dress, that they are somehow beautiful. Nope. Sorry. That is, and they want somehow the rest of us to acknowledge how pretty they are because they're wearing a wig and have makeup on and are wearing a dress. No, you're ugly. You look stupid. You look fucking stupid. No. And somebody needs to say, "Sir, look, no, 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 nope, it's not working. It's not working." But then there all the other trannies and gays and go, "Oh, honey, you look so beautiful." And oh, that really works for you. And then the rest of us look and go, "No, it don't." No, I mean, it really doesn't work for you. I mean, really? That no, 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 no. Take it off. No, you look ridiculous. Somebody please be honest with some of these people. But see, if you say something like that, you're trying to degrade them. No, if it looks bad on you, it looks bad on you. Whether you're a gay or a tranny or not, it looks bad on you. Period. Period. That's all. You look like hell. Don't wear that. No. Oh, but honey, it looks so nice. No, it doesn't. Don't lie to them. Don't, oh, but they need to have their self-esteem. They're fucking ugly. No, their self-esteem, they need to go do something about them. The fact that they're fucking ugly. They're overweight. They're trying to put themselves in this tiny little dress. You see all their bulges and fat, and you want to applaud them for it. No, they're fucking ugly. No, don't build up their look how beautiful I am. Call it what it is. Go home, lose a few pounds, then put the dress on. Change that wig looks stupid on you. If you really want to be a tranny, then do something about it and learn a little bit about the divine feminine versus I'm a man that's going to put on a dress and pass it off as divine feminine. Oh, no, hell. Oh, no, 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 hell no. No, hell no. Boy, have I copped an attitude. But some of this stuff is just like, Jesus, God Almighty, would somebody say something? No. Tell these ugly motherfuckers that no. It's not time for a 20. I'm gonna have to find a bud. I tell you, things are getting slim around the house. And it's like first time in a long, long time that things are really slim. And but it is what it is. I'm glad that I still have the ability to have a bowl. And I pray that this dry spot will get wet. But life is what it is. And we do the best we can. When the river's up, you go floating. When the river's down, you go walking. I give you props, David. I haven't seen you fire up a cigarette yet tonight. Oh yeah, it took me 4 days to smoke a pack of cigarettes. So that's like 5 cigarettes a day. And it actually was almost 5 days. So thank you. I appreciate it. Every time I pull one out now, I look at it and go, you know, I went from 40% last year with my heart to 60%. And mostly it's because of cigarette smoking. And even though I've been about a half a pack of cigarettes a day, that's still too many cigarettes, especially at my age and with a heart condition. So it's like, so what do you do? So you quit smoking, dumbass. So I'm doing the best I can. And I pull the cigarette out and I look at it and I put it between my lips and I look at it some more and I put it back down. And, I have lit the cigarette and smoked half of it. Holy crap. I just knocked everything over. Oh, shit. Hang on. I told you if I hit something just right, I was going to knock everything over. Oh, I had everything balanced just right. Now I messed it up. Hang on. Hang on. Good golly most. I knocked it all over. I had this thing just sitting up here, just rigged. And see if that is not going to work. Don't touch nothing. Don't touch nothing, Dave. Don't touch nothing. It's just hanging there. But after 71 years, life is still interesting. There's still stuff to learn. And with the chaos in the world these days, and that was one of the things that, with this splintering of the divine feminine, and how things are going in that arena, if you will, and like the incidents of like for in the movies or some of these shows, or Captain Marvel is supposed to be a guy, I thought, for example, and some of these other superheroes have changed genders all of a sudden, and it's like you're messing, for me, you're messing with an icon. Captain Marvel was a guy, period. So now it's a girl, and I'm supposed to just forget all the years of reading Captain Marvel comic books that somehow, it's just weird. But to the new folks, it's like, well, we're Captain Marvel's now a girl, and blah 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 blah, and blah blah, and Captain America's a girl now, and and this character is now a girl, and but does every freaking body have to be a girl? Does every character have to change? But where is the to me, where is the honor of the original character? Batman's Batgirl now. Well, there was Batgirl back in the day, and they were given equal rights, no problem, right? In my humble opinion. But that she had a cool motorcycle instead of a bat Batmobile, but she still had a cool motorcycle. Batgirl did back in the day that I remember. So, and she got equal billing, you know, but, she didn't try to be Batman. She was Batgirl, you know, Batwoman. Well, okay, but she was a woman, you understand? There was Catgirl, Catwoman, and she was a woman. And oh my God, the who was the original Catwoman? Well, and the second one too. But anyway, meow meow, and especially back in the day, right? So hey Travis, how you doing? Um, I don't mind looking at hot women. Neither do I. But let them be a different character. Let them be, who was Julie Newmar? That who was going to say Julie Newmar? Anybody? Julie Newmar to me was, she wasn't the first Catwoman, but she was like, to me, she became, to all of us guys back in the day, she was Catwoman. But the first Catwoman was actually, a black woman. I can't remember her name at the moment. But meow meow, brrr, and us guys were like, ah, especially back in those days, but Julie Newmar, to me, Catwoman, you know. Um, who was the first one? Eartha Kitt played the first Catwoman. Eartha Kitt. How about that? And were you thinking that? Pearl Jones come up with it. Eartha Kitt. So you were thinking it. Okay. So, because I was like, who was that woman? And I didn't have a clue. And then all of a sudden her name popped into my brain. So that's Miss Pearl out there was thinking Eartha Kitt for me. Thank you, Miss Pearl. Um, and Miss Pearl, I know we ain't talked in a while, but I've been showing up praying for you on this end, and I hope it's done some good. You know, not that I'm, looking for like, ooh, like blah blah blah. I just hope that sending prayers out to folks. I just hope it works. I hope it helps. Oh, we got 10 minutes, and I'm ready. I'm going to start early. But it's fun hanging out with you. Oh my God, it's been 2 hours and 28 minutes already. I've been hanging out with you. Man, it only seems like about an hour or so. But anyway, I, I like to yak on. But honestly, I want to see the original. I want to see the female come back. Um, in some of these roles, with like I was going to say Starsky and Hutch, but um, it, who was Cagney and Lacey? I watched Cagney and Lacey back in the day, and I loved the fact that there was these two women and how they, then the show got a little squirrely, but and then there was the husband and wife teams, you know, Rock Hudson and what's her name, back in the day, and everybody wanted a piece of the rock, mostly guys. Um, but which that was a scandal when it came out, that openly that Rock Hudson was gay, and in all of his movies and everything, because he was promoted as, this handsome man that for girls, and here he was, a gay man. you know, they were pitching him as the strong, husky, non-gay man until you learned about Rock Hudson. I mean, they openly put a gay man as Gomer Pyle, you know, and flaunted him as a Marine, of all things. Woo-hoo-hoo. Us Marines are for a few good men, woo-hoo, you know. Um, I'm gonna have to go get my dog in. But to the point of the femininity, Paul Lynde, on the, in the middle of the square thingy, everybody knew that Paul was, gay. Nobody cared. And none of us cared, sitting around and watching Paul Lynde because he was funnier than hell. But everybody knew that he was a little, and some of them other guys too. And so, and they didn't try to hide it, and we didn't try to, oh, I'm not watching Hollywood Squares because there's a gay men on there in the squares. No, they were funny. But they also knew that they were gay. So it's like none of this has been hidden. It's not like we have had our eyes closed, but at the same time, have we lost the femininity of true women? And I want to make sure that true women, have are not lost to the gay men. Oh, the gay men and the thingy and the tranny and the no. I want real women still. They can have equal time, but don't get rid of them. I'm sorry, but at the same time, like the new Discovery Enterprise thingy with their all women. Hang on, it's called balance, y'all. It's called balance. And a gay woman acting as a man does not count as a man. And two gay men do not count as men in the program. They don't. Let's put things, let's make sure we keep men and women. Let's make sure that we keep the women part, I'll be out of here in a few years, maybe 15 or 20, who knows how old I'll last or whatever, but to the grand scheme of things that, the rest of the world's going to go on after me. And so I'm hoping that the femininity thing will swing back around, because in the Kali Yuga, and we're going through a Yuga now, you can bet your bet. What's why I remember when Rock Hudson had his new designer jeans on, sporting them for the people. Yeah, they had knee pads on the front and the zipper in the back. Chloe, you say there will always be real women. Yeah, but are they going to be in the silent minority? Is like real women going to be like 15% of the population? Is it going to be like a curse to be a real woman? Are real women going to be afraid to be real women? Because in some areas, that's what it seems like what's going on. The real women have to stand up and go, wait, there's this guy that won this swimming contest. He's not a girl. And here's this showing up a woman born this way, and she's got to stand there and get share the podium with this guy with the dingaling for women's competition. No, that's just absolutely wrong. So, but, she's still a woman, but does it have to be sidestepped? And the way it's going now, it's going to be trannies or us, What? Yeah. Oh, this competition is trannies or us. Well, wait a minute. I thought this was traditionally a women's sport. No, this is trannies or us. Wait a minute. There was somebody who was running track that was doing the same thing. And they were like, nah, no, 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 no. Sorry about that, you know. Well, but he's a guy that, thinks he's a girl now, and he wants to run track with the women. No, no, no. You run track with the men. Don't run track with the women now because you think, you know, first off, if you're going to run with the women, get rid of your ding-a-ling. Are you willing to do that yet? No. Well, then you ain't in. You don't qualify. Sorry. My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. Won't you play with my ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling, oh my ding-a-ling? Oh, won't you play with my ding-a-ling? Once I had, once I that garden wall, and slipped and had a terrible fall. That thing. Sure am glad I didn't hurt my ding-a-ling-a-ling. My ding. Anyway, that Chuck Berry. How about that one for an oldie goldie? A minute early or two, but it's 2:15 in my house. Ooh, that was a good one. But so I'm will con I do still think, Chloe, like you say, there will be real women somewhere along the line. But my concern is, but to what extent? And are, will real women be exploited like, oh, look, there, there's a bunch of real women over there in the corner, and all the real women be hiding out like afraid to stand up and be a real woman. Like, I want a husband and 3 kids. What? What did you say? I want a husband and 3 kids. No, 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 you don't. No, yes, I do. I feel like a woman. I want a husband, and I want 3 kids, and I want to live on a little, and I want us to have and I want us to do and you want what? No, you don't. You want to be a free woman. You want to be an independent woman. You want to be like us, lesbian women who, you know, who her here's an observation. There are women who are lesbian women, okie dokie, no problem, but who are representing, because of their womanly looks, they are representing women, but they're not, because they're lesbian women. Well, I'm sorry, but they're a woman. Yeah, but it's biased. They're not women because they're lesbian. They're not having normal heterosexual kind of stuff. They're not interacting with men in any kind of normal sense over history, right? Oh, but it doesn't have to be that way. And this is the new okay. But I'm talking but here's this woman, but actually she's a lesbian woman, but she's standing up for all womanhood. No, the fuck she's not. She's a lesbian. She's standing up for lesbian women, not for women, because if she was a real woman, she'd have a guy. Dave, you're going off the rails. No, let's be practical. Women are not lesbian women. They're women. That's all. There is a difference. Well, but they look the same. Yeah, but they don't act the same. And I'm not putting lesbian women down, but lesbian women should not be the standard for women to represent women in society. because that's not real womanhood. Okay? It ain't. And you women should stand up for it and go, wait, 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 wait. I don't have a problem with lesbian women. That's not my point. But a lesbian woman should not be presenting the standard for true, honest to God, the divine feminine, because they ain't, you know? I mean, it's like, okay, was just talking about Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson, everybody wanted a piece of the Rock. He's this big, hunky guy and handsome dude. And for a long time, the women swooned over Rock Hudson, and he was presented as this, as this personage when the whole time he was gay. So, but that's the same point. You're trying to put a gay man like Rock Hudson, and for a long time it was like, oh, to be look like Rock Hudson, Rock Hudson, Rock Hudson, back in the day. When actually, so you're presenting this very gay man and putting him up that all men should be like Rock Hudson, should be manly, and should be like Rock Hudson, when Rock Hudson was gay. So here you're putting up a front. So Rock Hudson, gay man, but he's the front for all manly men. And, wait, that's false. So to have a lesbian woman presenting herself as the face, or that she is speaking for all of womanhood, I disagree, because she's gay. She can't. If she doesn't have that womanly thing towards a man, naturally, then, and having kids and having that thing, then she's not womanly to be qualified, because she's a lesbian. I'm sorry, you don't qualify. But I'm a woman. No, you're not. You're lesbian. Yeah, but I'm a lesbian woman, so? But you're not the same as a regular woman who's been married at least once and has had a kid and knows what that's like. I'm sorry, you don't know. No, sorry, you don't qualify, in my humble opinion, to speak up for women, because you haven't done those things, in my opinion, which would qualify you as a woman. Okay? You're a female woman lesbian, but you're not a woman in the sense that you had a kid and that you were married at least once. And hey, Sheila, how you doing? Sheila's my next door neighbor, y'all. She sent soup over the other night. That was excellent. I loved it, and I had to give Duggar some too. I shared some with him. But this idea that this womanhood. So I think womanhood, especially with someone who's had a child, that qualifies them for being in the divine feminine. Now, I know of a couple of women who were married, had children, and became lesbians. They being married to a guy just didn't work, and they ended up being lesbian. Okay. Those folks, ladies, could understand the divine feminine because they went through it. It didn't agree with them, but they went through it. They had the womanhood, they had the child, they went through it. Okay. And so even though they didn't stay that way, in my opinion, they do qualify to speak about womanhood because of childbearing and so forth. But these other women who are gay, who have never had that experience, I honestly, sorry, but I don't think you qualify to speak up for true divine womanhood. You can speak up for ladies and women and so forth, but you don't fit the qualifications for divine motherhood. I think there is a distinct difference there. And I know some gay women who are like, but I'm a woman and but yeah, but sorry, you put your hand, you go ahead, put your hand on that hip and flip it around a little bit and give me some attitude. And that's what I'm talking about. you know, it, you don't understand, and just by looking at you and your attitude, there's some, you just don't understand something about the divine feminine that I'm talking about, that I think should be traditional, because I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and and there was certain traditions that aren't necessarily bad in my opinion. Yes, I'm an old coot, but I think there are some traditions that are good to keep. We should be still traditional. There are too many people these days that just want to change every flipping thing. And it's like, no, we need traditions to help hold us together. And to see a traditional mother, you know, that shows the divine essence of women still to this day, how many people can you count to go, there's one, and there's a divine mother, there's one over there, and but oh, oops, oh, there's one. How many people can you point to this like, ooh, oh, Angelina Jolie, and I would kind of, for all joking aside, she has adopted children, and all joking aside, she's had breast cancer and had her breast removed, and all joking aside, for all the jokes and the asides that Angelina Jolie's gotten over the years, you know, she's still out there plugging, you know. Um, and so in ways, I think that, is she the epitome of motherhood and of the divine feminine? Because she's played all these characters that are, kick ass and kind of broody and so forth. And but at the same time, as a person, I think that there's a divine motherhood to her. There's something about her still that, there is a sense of, even when she's dressed with machine guns, there's something about her that, not necessarily sexy, but there's something about her that she still has. And she's obviously, for whatever, she's not a lesbian woman playing these parts, but she seems to still be a woman playing these parts, which okie dokie. And, I don't know if that was necessarily a good example, but she's gotten picked on a bunch over the years. But in real life, as far as I know, she's still trying, and she's trying to be a mother. But in on screen and as an actress, you know, there's something that you can still see in her, that womanliness, or however you want to put it, right? But she still got some of it, you know. And I don't mean that it's sex appeal, but there is that too. But there is that sense of womanliness, where there are other women and stuff. It's like, yeah, she looks good in skin things, but she's not really pushing it as far as, uh, I don't know. um, There's just certain people have it, and some folks don't, and some women have it, and some folks don't. Not to put them down, they're still lovely people, but they don't necessarily exude womanhood. You know, oh, they look good in a pair of tights, but yeah, okay, you know, and not to cut them down or anything. So, but I hope the true feminine survives. I do. I'm praying for it. And I don't mean in some kind of sexual way or something, but the divine feminine was sexy. Let's be honest. The divine feminine was sexy in whatever pose or whatever, but the divine feminine, because she was feminine and divine, she was sexy, you know. Is there anything wrong with that? You know, I mean, even if, it's like, having, been around lesbian women, ooh, she looks hot. Yes, she does. As a man, I agree. She looks hot. Boy, I'd like to rub her in the right way. Me too. We would probably, you're a lesbian and I'm a guy, we would probably like to do the same things to her. We agree on a lot of stuff. Yeah, buddy. So, God forbid, I'm thinking of my sister. But anyway, her being a lesbian girl and us talking about a similar, boy, she's hot. Yeah, you're right. Which is not a bad thing, at least we both, where she's honest about it and so forth. That we've known for years, but anyway, it's funny to like both agree that, boy, she's hot, you know. But anyway, so so I hope the divine feminine does not get lost. The one could argue about the divine. Is there a divine masculine? Who knows? The way things are going these days, I worry about some of these young boys. You know, uh, they just don't have a clue, and some of them are Twinkies. I mean, they'll, they're bisexual, and they'll have sex with girls, and they'll have sex with boys, and and the girls and boys will have sex together, and some of these, and they're Twinkies. They'll go either way with either one, and I don't think they know who they are or what they are. They're, you know, I fear for them. I do. And it's like, honestly, Christy McNichols came to mind. Who is she? I was just singing that Barry had on. I do. Gotta up the. Heidi Hill, Silver and Away. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool, to have um, the Lone Ranger be a woman. That'd be great. And Tonto would be a gay guy. Well, or this really husky Indian girl. What's up, Kemosabe? That would be funny. A redo of the Lone Ranger as a girl. You know, but oh, there was a girl that and it's on YouTube. I'm sorry, you can find it on Tubi, and I think. Um, but she, had her own television show back in the day, and not Annie Oakley, but somebody like that. But anyway, send not very many these days. And all this stuff, they are spraying them with the what in the arms of birth 72 by the food, water. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in and around. And one of the things in living down here in the South, I've noticed that a lot of us have heart trouble. I mean, right within my neighborhood, across the street, just down the road, my friend Rob, his dad, just going in for a stint. Me, some other folks in this neighborhood, not just here in South Georgia, but I mean in my neighborhood. So there are some things that we're still very healthy with, but somehow we've slipped up with heart conditions. Now, the 4 or 5 people that I can think of offhand, we have smoked. We do smoke. One Mr. Randy gave up smoking. One Randy that I know that had open heart surgery never smoked, and only smoked a little bit of weed every once in a great while. And so, his heart condition cannot be related to smoking because he didn't, but one could say his heart was because of his diet and being overweight. So, and he was an absolute candidate for that. But, so he had similar heart condition and open heart surgery, and versus me just having had to, you know, be, possibly stented soon, um, which is different, you know. But we still, all of us have had some kind of heart condition. So they spray a lot around here for the cotton, which is they're defoliating the cotton right now because they're baling it up and combining it. They're combining peanuts right now too, by the way. Um, but Randy down here never smoked, got a heart condition, but he's surrounded by cotton fields and the spraying. Other Randy in Moultrie, heart condition, did smoke, cotton fields around him. Is it because of the spraying from the cotton fields? I live here. Now, I don't have any cotton fields nearby, but there are cotton fields within a mile of me. And there's a lot of spraying going on. And there's some times of the year that you can just smell it on the air. And it's like, holy crap, you just can't get away from this stuff. Now, has it given us collectively a heart condition? Well, but not every Randy smoked. Not every one of us smoked. Not every one of us smoked 2 or 3 packs a day. Not every one of us, but we all live in this area where we have been sprayed. And the lady across the street, who was a nurse and cardiac unit for years and years and years and retired, she has a stint, never smoked, but she lives in the same in this same neighborhood to where we've all gotten some kind of cotton spray. So can I say that our heart conditions collectively? Her husband, I don't know if he smoked, but he has a heart condition too and has stents. So, they weren't the party and type of smoking and drugs and things, but they both have heart conditions. Now, so what's the commonality? One could say that it's the cotton spray that's in this area, the defoliant that they've been using has given us collectively, literally neighbors to neighbors around here. We have collectively, we have, similar heart conditions. We all have an AFib of some type. Ain't that interesting? You know, what can we do about it? Probably not a freaking thing, but ain't that interesting? Cause and effect right down the road. He's been there. Guess what? Cotton fields right across the street from him. He's been in this area, lived down here, and Eddie Murphy's got a heart condition, and he's 10 years younger than me. But he lives closer, like right across the street, to a big cotton field. So he's really next door neighbors with the smell and the overspray. Me, it's a mile and a half away from me. So I'm getting overspray that's on I'm getting it more indirectly. It's right when he goes to the mailbox, he's getting cotton spray. So not the same for me. So, but we're all have been getting cotton spray, men and women. So I don't think, because I know more men that I've talked about with the heart condition, even though my neighbor across the street. So she's got heart condition the same as us and didn't smoke. But wait a minute, we all have heart conditions of the same. Wait a minute. How the fuck did this happen? Just asking, how did this happen? Does it help anything or do anything? No. But, Rob's father, lives basically in the neighborhood, not near like within a 2 or 3 mile radius neighborhood, but lives a little closer to Moultrie where there are cotton fields. And he's got a similar heart condition. Um, is that the the long term effects of living here in South Georgia? We'll see. I'm going to do some more asking and talking and stuff, especially now that I'm like, wait a minute, all these people that I know and these folks and the people that they know, we all have similar heart conditions. For crying out loud, smokers, non-smokers, partiers, non-partiers. Wait a minute. How come we all have the same heart condition? And some folks are, a little overweight, but some folks ain't. Like me, I'm not overweight. My BMI is good. My next door neighbor, geez, might be a little over, he might weigh 10 pounds more than me. And she might be 5 pounds over where she needs to be, but not grossly fat, you know. And Mr. Randy, he lost weight because he was having a heart condition, but wait. So we've all cleaned up our eating habits. It's not that. Some of us never smoked, haven't smoked, and some of us are cutting back, but their conditions are worse than mine, even though I smoke more. But they're higher up on the hill to get more overspray. I mean, but who knows? But I'm shocked and alarmed at how many people in Colquitt County and in this area, as they have aged, we all have the same type of heart condition. Is that just like weird or what? But anyway, more on that later. But, to stick with the feminine thing, and I didn't finish this bowl. Uh-oh. Don't worry, fans. I got a whole pack of them up there, like 6 lighters, so I'm not out. But I am, it's been 3 hours and 2 minutes since I've been on here. And I am going to get off because I hate making these long ones. And folks are like, man, it takes me 2 or 3 days to listen. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because there are some folks that I listen to that it takes me 2 or 3 days to listen to them too. But I love hanging out with y'all. And, shame on me, because I like hanging out with y'all. But some of the stuff I talk about, I know I'm crazier than hell. But I'm here to try to help get you to think about stuff, whether it's good or bad or positive or negative, whether you agree with me or not, think about it. That's the thing. Think about it. And as many years as I've been around to be able to observe some things, there are some things I don't want to think about. God Almighty Jesus, you're going to make me think about this? No, Lord, take this from me. I don't want to think about this. You know, Lord, to see the femininity of females get lost in all this, it's fractured and frazzled. And, God, can we just have boys and girls again? Do we have to have all these different things? Lord have mercy. And I'm not trying to be biased or negative or whatever. Can we just go back to some of the way it was a little bit, Oh, but it wasn't equal and it wasn't this and it wasn't LGBTQRSPQRTQ. Shut up. And they and them, you shut up. I'm a cranky old man. And shut up, you, they, thems. Either be a man or a woman, or just say you're gay, period. Well, what are you? I'm just gay. Okay, fine. We can handle that. But I'm a them. Call me a they. They what? They stupid as hell. They a dumbass. What? Dave, you're being rude, and you're being. I'm a cranky old 71-year-old man who just wishes that some of this stuff was just like, why you got to make it so complicated? you know, they make it up for themselves. But to the point though, so the future of stuff, those that want to be called they, them are some ugly mofos. Have you seen they, them? That they should be just called whales. You know, can I call you an orca? You're too ugly to be a dolphin, but you could be an orca, you know, and because you're spouting off, you know, and you look like you have kind of, look like a seal the way you're talking. You call me a damn. You rolled up on the beach, didn't you? I'm sorry, but you will call me a there them. Okay. You beached whale, you. The ones that I've seen that have been interviewed for things and stuff, they look like beached whales. They look like orcas, every pound. They're not some like, I was going to say a lithe beauty, a slim, semi attractive woman, because it's never men who want to be a they or them. Not yet. Most of them seem to be female who want to be a they or a them. And they are just oogly, oogly, and just, you know, I don't care what you want to, what you want to be called, and are you trying to identify because you look like a beached whale? I mean, you could go to Marineland and get a job, they'll throw you a fish, but if you're vegetarian, that might not work. But I'm a they or a them. Okay. To me and to the rest of the public, you look like a big fat slob who is trying to bring attention to yourself and who's going to stand, in some feminist group area and declare that you need your rights too. You need your rights to declare that you're a beached whale, or at least a seal, or sea lion, or a sea lioness, maybe even, but still, I have not seen any of the ones who profess to be a they, them, who are like, oh my God, they're just ugly as fudge, just please, you know, and you're just trying to bring attention to yourself. I'm sorry. For whatever the reason, you got knots in your hair and your hair is 6 different colors or more, and you're wearing some kind of outlandish ugly, you know, to set off your ugliness. You couldn't wear something that would help make you look more attractive, instead of making you look worse, you know. Put on something. Well, I'm going to dress this way with this. Oh my God. And you're there. Okay. All right. So you don't want to identify with anything, and okay, all right, but you still look like a beached whale. you know. So, and I'm talking about in many of the things where, like Ben Shapiro and some of these others, and there are folks that they're interviewing in the audience, and these are the folks I'm talking about. That stand up and declare these certain things, and they're talking about a this or that, or people who've been interviewed on the street that want to be a they or them, ugly as fudge, oh my God. And, I really feel sad for them. I do. Pick one or the other, but to make us like wallow in your low self esteem, think about it. They want us to call them these things because they have low self esteem. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I'm not gay. I'm a they. I'm a them. What? Uh, what? Is that sort of like uh, a I want to be gender neutral, a they or a them. I don't want to be either one. Well, sorry, you are one or the other. Do you sit down to pee or do you stand up? Ding a ling, yes or no. That's it. Period. You can be a they or a them, but you still identify with yes or no. Yes to the ding a ling, no to the, sorry, but still boils down to that. So until the creator changes that, until that in in our and it ain't in my evolution, but in y'all's evolution. Oh, God Almighty, in y'all's evolution and stuff. People start coming out with and there are people who have both genders, hermaphrodites. Okay, and I would feel for them, honestly. Not personally feel of them, but I would feel for them in that, they've got both genders. And I knew somebody many years ago in Tampa who did have both genders. A very nice person and felt more female, but had some manly features, had very fine hair on his or her face, but he was a lovely person, but he was both genders. So at the same time, so yes, there are those folk, you know, and truly those folk had both parts, male and female. Don't know if he could have had children or not, but he had female parts or she had male parts. Uh, but anyway, um, so that's uncommon, but it does happen. So, but a true transvest, I'm no, not a trans. That's not right. Transvestite, no, no, a true hermaphrodite, male, female. So, but you know, when she wanted to feel female and feminine, she had the hormones and a vagina, whether it worked or not, but had a vagina to where she felt feminine, versus a guy who was pretending to feel, who look at me, I'm so feminine, hotty, hotty, hot. Nah, I'm sorry, doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work. So, but the divine feminine, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. And I hope that you women out there who have heard this and pass it along, you women stand up for womanhood. Don't let them get away with this mess. I can stand up and us men can stand up and they will just call us misogynist pigs. Oh, you want to see, Miss America contest with bikinis and bathing suits. Well, don't you lesbian women want to see it too? Don't argue with me. Of course I'm a man. I would love to see beautiful women, but no, I'm not because I want to oogle and Google, but yes, I do. But at the same time, I want to be inspired. There have been beautiful women for thousands of years, and paintings and carvings and statues of beautiful women. And why not? We should still honor beautiful women. Oh, but that's lusting after them. Well, maybe, but you lesbian women are doing the same thing. You're lusting after these beautiful women. So, however we do it, we say, look, there's a beautiful woman, and we recognize it. There's a beautiful man. There's a handsome man. We recognize it. Okay. There are statues, oh, there's a statue of David. I doubt it was me, but, but the idea though, that we should acknowledge beauty, male or female, for whatever the reason, whether it's lustful or not, that, that they look good, period, right? Paintings, artwork, you know, but to take the woman out of the woman, to take the woman essence out of the woman's body. So here's a woman's body, and don't look at me because I'm a lesbian, but here's my body, and see how pretty I am. But there's nothing that says you're a woman. Your essence of womanhood is gone, that divineness. So I hope you all in the future, and that it will continue, and that this which is going on is sort of a Sodom and Gomorrah of the world, is the way my brain's been interpreting some of this. It's the Sodom and Gomorrah of the world, in that there's so much women, men, that, wait a minute, that's the Sodom and Gomorrah of the world, where the angel came down and said, find me 10 decent, people. Find me 5 decent people. Find me 2 decent people. Find me a decent person, and we won't frag, Sodom and Gomorrah, which they fragged them, basically dropped a nuke on them. So is that a warning, to the rest of the world? Wait a minute. So the several gay men that I've known over the years, and one that passed away recently, who was that I grew up with on the carnival. And Chucky tried to get me to convert, many years ago, and for many years he tried to get me to convert, and I'm like, no, sorry. But at the same time, he was the first gay man that I actually had sex with, because I was a very confused young man. And I was like, because I was being hit up by all these gay men. I couldn't get a date with a girl, and I was like, wait, what the fuck's up with this? So I tried it, didn't like it, and said, that's enough for me. Nope. All right. You asked me to try it. You asked me to see. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Don't like it. That's all. That was that. And that was like in 1970, because I was being chased by priests and stuff. And I was like, if I was going to have a homosexual relationship, I wanted to have it with somebody that I knew. And I've known Chuck for a while and blah, blah, blah. So I did. Not for me. That was that. No more. But we stayed friends he just recently died. So for a long time. But I've known for a long time that I ain't gay, Well, how do you know? Because I tried it. I don't like it. I'm not gay. That's that. But I understand that as a gay, having been with a gay man once, that, I understand that, and so, but it ain't for me. I think it finally died. I think it finally died. So I can put the cigarette down until I get up and get. So, but there are folks who were like, oh, well, you don't understand. Well, yeah, I do. And well, you don't blah, 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 Dave. Well, yeah, I do. Being chased by priests and so forth. And yeah, I do. I get the thing about the rape, and I get the thing about being lied to, and I get the thing about powerful people who want to push things on you, and the mind tricks and playing, and that because all the men that were hitting on me and the priests who were hitting on me, was like, was it a conspiracy between the priests that, hey, we like Dave over there, we're gonna go to this priest and that priest and this priest. And because I was trying to identify myself as a young man, I went to a priest for advice, and the advice they were giving me was to lead me more into their way of thinking, which was to punk my ass, physically. And so it's like, but wait a minute. So I'm trying to get advice when the advice I'm being given is from a biased point of view. We want to punk you in the ass, boy. So we're going to bring you and tell you these things and do this stuff, and because we want to punk your ass. And that's the truth, So, in the feminist of things, there are men to this day, and maybe through the Catholic Church or not, but through churches and through, quote, holy organizations, that there are these pedophile people in government, in schools, in these different positions, that if they get the chance, they're going to diddle you, men and women, men to the women with women's basketball or whatever. And so, there are men and women on both sides of the track that are diddling with the opposite sex or the same sex. So, and unfortunately, it's been going on one way or the other for years, going back, to the dang Romans and the Greeks. And I mean, it goes way, way back. And to think that that part is just going to go away, I'm not so naive that that is just going to disappear. That is not it. But at the same time, I hope to God that the true divine feminine will, stick to it, and that women will represent that, and not give in to this silliness, in my humble opinion, of some of this stuff that's going on, and that, it's already gone rampant. Hopefully it will come back and that there will be a balance, because the cards say we need to find a balance. Men need to find the balance within their own feminine nature. And women, for God's sakes, you need to find the feminine in yourself. I'm not speaking about y'all in this chat room, but, there are too many women out there who are trying to be a man. You can be a woman, have a job, but that don't mean you have to act like a man. You just don't, be a woman, have a job, support your kids, but that don't mean you have to act like a man. You know, I I love you all, and that I know folks who, and some women who are like, they got to be so. They're exerting their what they feel is their feminine right to be stand tall and be powerful and all that, that they're acting like guys. They're, tough and this and that. No, just be a woman, for crying out loud. Stop trying to walk like and talk like a man, for crying out loud. Be a woman and still be strong, and have your job and do your thing with the kids and all. But, You don't have to be act so tough all the time and blah, 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 blah. No, just because well, I'm a woman and hear me roar. Well, all right, but you don't have to bite and snap at people, And do you have to roar all the time? Because you have to show your strength as a woman. Well, you are a woman because you got boobies and a vagina, and you're a woman. Okay. But now you're gonna like, yeah, but I'm a tough and I'm a this, and you're gonna do like I tell you, boy. And it's like, yeah, you're not a lesbian. Well, no, I'm not. I'm a husband. I got 3 kids, but I'm gonna talk like this and walk like, and you're gonna do what I. But calm down. Calm down. Um, Throw a little feminine in there, please, because you do have children. You are, you are and profess yourself to be a woman. That's all good things. So don't forget the divine feminine. You don't have to be a man. You don't have to act like a man to show that you're a tough woman. You just don't. The fact that you have lived your life and done what you've done shows that you're tough. So you don't have to act tough. And you don't have to put on like manly characteristics to show that you're a tough woman. Because if you're a tough woman and you're showing manly traits, then you ain't really showing your woman's. You know what I mean? You're trying to be something you ain't. Be a woman first. And your strength will show through. You won't have to prove it. You because you already show it. You already are it. You emanate it. That's why I was sort of talking about Angelina Jolie the other day. She's not like my favorite actress or nothing, but she has shown strength in her roles and in her characters and in her private life over the years. So it's like, with all the tough shit she's been through, she deserves a little bit of respect. Not only as an actress, but in real life too. She's still at it. Good for you, sweetie. Some folks would have committed suicide or done some other dumb shit, and you're still trying. Good for you. I mean it. And she hasn't slipped into a non-woman's role. She's still she's still ladylike to me in ways. So, but anyway, with that said, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. And I hope that you will continue to learn how to reject the chaos that's in the universe right now, like nobody's business, right? Learn how to stay out of the chaos. Keep an eye on it, but stay out of that chaos. All right. Because I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And we could use a little bit of divine masculine, because there's so many wimpy dudes out there right now that, Sylvester Stallone in his 70 odd years being old, he's showing still a little bit of divine masculine in his roles. And even Arnold Schwarzenegger is showing in his older age, is showing some in odd ways a divine masculine, and he's still like the big guy, and so but those are male icons for years, right? But the divine feminine, let's make sure that doesn't leave. I'm all for You got my vote, ladies. Show your stuff, you know, and don't let these other what I consider to be bigoted women, lesbian women who are somehow feel left out because they're not women in the true sense. And if you're lesbian, okay, you made your choice and that's okay. But don't try to, but I'm a lesbian, but I'm still a woman. Mm, I just beg to differ because of the differences between the divine feminine and the male masculine of things. And there is the yin and yang. So if you're a lesbian woman, that's not real yin and yang. You have to honestly look at the truth. And because you have chosen a way, men who are gay are still men, but they're gay. I just like other men. Well, okay. But they're not trying to be women. Well, but then that puts them in another category, right? So that's why the divine feminine we need to hang on to that. So don't know how, but it's going to be interesting to watch in the future. And it's going to be an interesting ride because, women, you got your work cut out for you. But I'm rooting for you, okay? That's my bottom line. After 3 hours and 31 minutes, I'm sticking with it. you know, I'm for the divine feminine. I'm for you ladies. Whatever you need to help, I'm for you, so keep up the good work and I love you all and stay healthy and good and all that good stuff. And I suddenly got tired all of a sudden. I got to find out how to shut this off. I can't read the bottom line, but Chloe and Scotty Boy and all y'all who've hung out with me here these last 3 hours or in and out and whatever. I love you all and please be safe, okay? And keep up the good work, you know? And spread whatever good vibes you can. This chaos with the Palestine and Israel and all this and the infighting and who's right and who's wrong. Here's the simple thing: war is wrong, killing each other is wrong, mass murder with rockets and bombs are wrong. Don't care what side you're on, it's wrong. So stop it. Well, are you for Israel or the Palestine? I'm for anybody. I'm against anybody who's throwing bombs at each other. I'm against them. Israel or Hamas, don't care. I'm against the persons throwing bombs at each other. It's wrong. Killing each other is wrong. So stop it. Fix it. Sit down, have a chat. But throwing bombs at each other. So are you picking sides? No, I'm not. I'm against anybody who's throwing bombs, and both sides are throwing bombs. So I'm pissed at both sides. So am I choosing a side? No. Y'all quit throwing bombs. Period. Y'all quit throwing rockets and bombs and stuff. Am I picking? Oh, you're for the Palestinians? No, I quit throwing bombs. Whoever you are, quit throwing them. That's the thing. Well, and I don't want to see anybody suffer. So if who's suffering more or less on whatever side, well, I'm against anybody suffering. So let's fix that problem. But number one, whoever's throwing the bombs at each other, quit throwing bombs. Well, but the Hamas, the Israelis don't care. Don't care. Quit throwing bombs. Y'all be growed up. Quit playing, you're growed ups in the sandbox. Quit throwing rocks at each other. Quit throwing bombs at each other. And, which side are you for? And Israel and versus this person. Quit throwing bombs. You're both wrong. You're both wrong. The Palestinians and the Israelis are both wrong because they're throwing bombs at each other. Well, one has the right over the other. They're both wrong because they're both throwing bombs. Period. Quit throwing bombs. That's my 10 cents. I love you all. I don't know how to shut this thing off. Let me see how this works. My cell phone hooked up to the, are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes, I love you all and have a great week. And hopefully I will see you soon.